If I'm on the other day. What's the highest trust you can have in a person?
I don't know.
Getting a blowjob off a cannibal. Thank you, Agri Mick.
That's brutal. How do you kill a redneck?
You can't.
Wait till he fucks his sister, then cut the brakes on his house. All right, hit it, Marlon, hit it.
Good evening, scumbags.
Welcome back to another episode of In the Doghouse, the podcast that is institutionally racist. Oh, wait, sorry, no, that's the Met. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I was thinking of it all day, and I was like, I can't, but I have to. It's too good at all. I'm joking. We're long past that. They're sexist and transphobic now.
Just ring the fucking bell.
Ring the bell. Housekeeping.
Buy merch now. Get out of my fucking house.
Yes. All right, what have we got, Marlon? It's done it. It's up. It's live. Yes, go.
No, shut up. Oh. We have hoodies. Very limited stock now. We are getting close. And they're not being done again. Even though we said that last time.
We drew a line under it. No. Yeah.
There will be a new design in the future. But what we got is what we got, and that's it. T-shirts. So we've got Cluck Norris. New Cluck Norris is out. Buy it now.
Yes.
Reg, what does it say?
It says, I throw my used car batteries in the ocean. Yes, it's safe and legal. We have a lawsuit pending from the EA. Thank you, Environment Agency. But they're going to be too busy picking up the batteries from the ocean to be worried about any lawsuits. It's a real adrenaline rush. It's fun for all the family. It's an activity for children. You can get like a little 30 amp and give it to your toddler, and then you can throw 110 amp in there as well. It's great fun. I can't recommend throwing batteries in the ocean enough.
Get your 075s out now. Take them out of everything. Let's chuck them in. Let's do it.
And what else do we have, Marlon, for our darling Patreons?
So Patreon only merch. There's two new T-shirts this time.
It's part of Reg's anti-government line of merch. The first one is a man from the DVSA mapped out my AdBlue for cash. And the other one is my life is just a series of undocumented HSE violations. So yeah, get on there. The line will continue when I come up with more ideas. But yeah, that's Patreon only. Use the password, which Marlon will have DM'd to you or sent in a
It's
Patreon.
on your Patreon messages.
There you go.
I've already had about 5 messages. What's the password? Because you've changed it.
Yeah.
In your Patreon messages.
We'll also put it up on the Discord as well, because everyone that's on the Discord is a Patreon, obviously. So we'll put it up on there. So, I don't want 100 DMs. What was the password? If you're that technically retarded, then leave. I'm joking. So massive shout out to the patrons. As always, we do a discount on we do discounted merch.
Yes, the Patreon merch is
cheaper. And if you're a top tier Patreon, you can also use your discount code to get it even cheaper again. Madness. We're giving it away.
Patreon t-shirt is 18 quid. And free postage. So we make literally nothing.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's just for you.
It's just for you. Just
because
for you.
You are the pieces of shit that help us keep going.
Literally support the podcast. And on the subject of Patrons, as we said, 3 episodes in a row now. Just going to get this clear. Next, Bar Crawl is Patreon only. Ticketed event. We're going to work out some system to buy tickets or whatever. It'll be a nominal fee just so we can say you've put down enough money to say that you are coming. And we can invest that as we see fit, probably in hookers and cocaine for ourselves, but you can all fuck yourselves. But, I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. You need to be a patron to come to the next Bar Crawl because it's, getting too big. Is the middle and both ends of it, really. Yes. Awesome. Is that housekeeping done?
You carry on with the episode sponsor.
The sponsor of this episode, obviously, Sean the fucking chef. He's back again. Sean is making moves. Sean is making big moves at the moment. Your man has got himself a fucking unit. You went down the other day. Tell me about it, man. What's he doing?
Jesus Christ.
The fridges in the back garden, they're gone.
Mate, these fridges, he's got 2 of these honeys. I'm not quite sure what make they are. They are stainless all the fuck. He still hasn't peeled all the wrapping off them. They're gorgeous and they are huge. I'd love one in the house.
Your man has got more stainless than a fucking machine shop, I swear. I mean, he bought a new dishwasher. He told me how much it costs. I mean, your man is doing well. And
it's a top setup down there. Everything stainless.
It's a stunning thing. It's a stunning thing. So yeah, Sean the fucking chef. Where can we find Sean, Marlon?
So we can find Sean on Instagram at Sean the Chef 1.
Yes, we can.
And his new website.
No way.
Yeah, he set a website up. So if you want to go to
www.seanthechef.shop. So you can now online order from him. There's no more.
How easy is that going to be?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So everything literally that week. It's all fresh as well. It's all, made to order fresh stuff, and postal orders will be banging. They'll be out, recorded delivery. They'll be with you in like a day. So it's going to be fresh as fuck. Like fresher than me and Marlon got it here. We even got a box here to try at the break, haven't we? We've gone all out. Yeah. Massive shout out to Sean the Chef. Like his stuff is just incredible. There's nothing that measures up to it. Your man goes down to the food festivals, the Clark's Village. He's going to Shepton Food Festival. It doesn't matter how much he bakes in advance. Sold out.
Every
time. Like anyone, there's a lot of people listening that have ordered from him and are just like, holy shit, this stuff's incredible. Like the man is a magician when it comes to
That's it. Treat yourself, treat a wife, treat somebody else's wife.
It's a lot more fun when you don't get caught. Right. So massive shout out to Sean. Thank you for that, my man. Thanks for sponsoring the episode. Right.
No, hold tight.
Oh, God, there's more. but wait, there's more.
One little shout out here to Steve at SC Signs. Turned around some big vinyl stickers for us really fucking quickly. Hell of a lot of kit down there. All your sticker needs, give SC Signs a shout. Obviously, I'm going down tomorrow to
watch some Skiddy Boys. We've sponsored a drift car, apparently.
We've sponsored a drift car.
Legal drifting for once.
Yeah.
Not running singles roundabout. We sponsored him because he's getting blue lighted.
Can we sponsor the roundabout next?
No, we're not sponsoring fucking roundabout. I thought if we sponsored it, we could do Skinny Boys around it.
I never like that.
Yeah, probably not.
So yeah, make sure you check out SC Signs. Have a look at Goldust X on Instagram. There'll be a video up. By the time you listen to this,
awesome,
of tomorrow's antics.
Skiddy Boys. Right, Marlon, who are we joined by tonight?
So we are joined by a
man of mystery.
Yeah,
a man of literally an international man of mystery, you could say. I suppose. Would we go as far as that, babyface?
Yeah, why not?
Alex, we can call you either, I suppose. I've just absolutely outed you to everyone that knows you.
Both works. It's all good.
that's fine. Yeah. So, I mean.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Usually with the guest questions. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a no-comment interview, if I'm honest, but we could try. What's your go-to drink, Alex?
Have to be rum.
Rum?
Rum, absolutely.
Any particular rum?
Are we Captain Morgan's dead thing?
No. None of this spice nonsense. I don't need pineapple or vanilla or anything like that in my rum. No, just aged rum.
White rum?
No, aged.
Oh, right.
So cask aged.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, so I mean, your Havana Club up here.
Yeah.
It's about 3 years old. So it's just a little bit golden. That's fine if you're sticking Coke over it or something like that.
Peasants.
The fucking rum snobbery. I mean, what about the Mount Gay? We got a bottle.
Yes, that is epic. I've been and done a tour of the distillery, for want of a better word. In Barbados when we were on a honeymoon. Epic. Absolutely epic. I mean,
I'd love to have been there when that conversation went down. We're going to go for a tour of a rum distillery, dear.
Seriously, both just, it was everywhere in Barbados. Everybody drank it. It's an epic one. And that's the cooking one, the Eclipse. They will mix that into sort of rum punch cocktails. The Black Barrel, the extra old they do. Oh, they are just...
Is that some of the stuff that they do, like they do like a special reserves and stuff that you can only buy there? You can't.
No, you can. You can pick.
That?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to get it in Tesco.
Yeah, no.
But
it is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, quite easily.
Is it Monkey Shoulder? Is that a rum or is that a whiskey?
I want to say that's a whiskey.
Oh, is it?
Gord drinks.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That is as far as my rum knowledge goes. I only know Mount Gay because we call Denny Mount Gay because his name's. I'm not going to out him as a second name. What am I going to do that? Sorry, Denny. That was close.
My rum knowledge goes as far as Morgan Spiced.
Oh my God. Yeah, so not a dead man's fingers, man, then.
No. It's good for disinfecting fingers if you cut them or something, but no, not for drinking. Not for drinking.
I've never had it, to be fair. I think we actually have a bottle knocking around down there, like a black one you give me.
Yeah,
and you're like, it's fucking wank. Is it like extra spice or something? I don't fucking know.
I just don't drink rum.
I had some rum Bacalon that I was given from some Polish guys that I worked with, and it was all written in, like, I don't know, Not Polish, obviously. It was all written in some wanky language. We Google translated it, and it was called agricultural rum. And Mule was like, "Oh yeah, it's great." So we could degrease the engine with it, or get fucked.
You sure that wasn't antifreeze?
Yeah, honestly, it tasted like fucking. It was really weird. This is going to be a really niche reference. There was an aloe vera drink they used to get years ago, and it tasted just like that. My mum used to drink some weird. My mum was into homeopathy, so obviously she was into drinking aloe vera shit. I don't fucking know, but it tasted just the same. It's no bueno. Mule drank it though, like the animal he is. Anything to get pissed, I suppose. He would drink methylated spirits, the bastard. You may as well call him Les. Yeah. All right then. Next question. What is the most mental thing to happen to you on a night out?
Ooh. It's been a while. It's been a good long while. I think the probably the most silly one was coming back. I'd been to see a friend who I taught to shoot at uni. She joined the RAF and was just finishing at RAF Wittering. So I've been up to go and just visit her, hang out with some of her friends. Unfortunately, couldn't pay with card or cash in the mess bar. It had to go on your mess bill.
Does that come off your wages, or do you pay at the end of the month?
Yeah, you get a tab at the end of the month, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I couldn't pay for anything in the bar. So I bought lunch and just put everything on her tab, and then a couple of drinks in the bar, went into town, a couple more drinks. Then we had some fast jet pilots join us. They are animals, complete animals.
You think they? Well, I suppose, yeah. If you're doing that kind of shit,
have
you're
you
going to be
watched
nuts.
Maverick?
Yeah.
And yeah, long story short, ended up back at camp, literally cuddling the Alsatian that was on the gate, trying desperately to hold the pizza that I had in the other hand out the way so the dog wouldn't be eating it. It was a bit good fun, nice, clean fun, nothing sort of too wild, but that's
just an absolute.
As a copper, you generally, you behave yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, and then otherwise you go and join the Met.
Shots fired.
Pew, pew, pew. Marlon, you can take the last question.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do this to me.
He's going to go no comment. It's no comment interview.
Favorite category on Pornhub?
As per my prepared statement,
I refer you to my solicitor.
No, it would have to be brunettes.
Hey,
Start from brunettes and work your way up from there.
That is it's a large encompassing category. To be fair, I mean,
Mama can be thick.
Mama can be thick. Oh, wow.
That needs to go on a t-shirt.
Mama can be thick. Jesus. Oh man, it's going to be one of those. I can tell. Right,
Reg, how's your fucking week been, mate?
Mate, I was just thinking about this earlier. I really haven't done too much. Like nothing wild. I haven't really. I usually got like some story or some fuck up that I've done, but it has been like really weirdly quiet. As anyone that's on the Discord will know, busy day on the beef farm. I said to the old man, "Has it got much on the day?" No, not really. Do you want me to like do something, or should I just fucking go home? He's like, clean the vehicles off if you want, young'un. I was like, all right, no worries. Got the pressure washer out. Just fucking like cleaned all of the vehicles. That was it. I cleaned his Carpathian off, which like had no dirt on it. He was just getting all fucking.
What's that done about 7 miles now?
Literally, he's done like. I think he's put more miles on it than I thought he would. I thought it was going to be a museum piece, but he's actually putting it to work. So yeah, cleaned that. Cleaned his older 90, which he's been using as a work truck. That was fucking disgusting. And the worst part is my old man is very similar to me, and that when he gets in new cars, I ain't fucking smoking in this. I ain't fucking smoking in this. I ain't fucking that lasts generally about 3 to 4 months. Then he starts smoking it. Now you'd think, wouldn't you? You'd think a car with like a beige headliner would just absolutely absorb tobacco smoke and just end up that disgusting brown. No, but when you have like an Alcantara headliner that's black, it's the weirdest thing. It literally has like a brown fur to it. Oh my God.
How do you even clean Alcantara?
Mate. Well, I can tell you what I did. I didn't.
Nope.
You want a wet fucking Land Rover headliner? Yeah, that's a good way to have it sagging on your fucking head. Nah, man. Yeah, no, I cleaned his car, cleaned both his cars. Didn't clean my car because Land Rover paint is soft as shit and it's all black. So I just
need to get it coated.
Well, this is my idea. I'm gonna get on a Gary and get him to detail it or whatever. But yeah, no, I just or Ryan, whatever. But yeah, no, I've done nothing of note, boys. It's been boring as fuck. I've been pressure washing cars. I've been pressure washing cattle sheds. Mate, that is it. I'm sorry. I wish I had more to report, but if I can think of anything else, I'll add it in. Yeah, but it's been a wank week. I've just done nothing. What about yourself, Alex? You had much on this week, mate?
No, it's been a fairly steady one. It was daddy daycare last weekend, so start of the week almost.
Yeah.
Back last Sunday, went to Longleat with the little ones.
How much did that cost you, can I ask?
We have a season ticket.
Oh,
He did have to remortgage the house to buy the season ticket.
I don't even want to know what. I don't even want to know.
Not too bad.
Is it like 36 quid a person, isn't it? Like, to do everything?
Something like that, yeah. I don't think you can actually pick and choose anymore.
Oh, you have
I
to.
think you get...
You get it all.
You get it all, whether you use it all or not.
Whether you want to go look around the shitty fucking house with a load of old paintings in it or not.
I've got that wanky boat.
Oh, man, you got what? Oh, a gorilla in there no more, is it?
It is? No. They got about 5 of them. Yeah.
What? And what about the one that was lived on its own? Like the sad one?
Yeah, I think it died.
It died, didn't it? Yeah, my mate used to...
used to watch Sky TV,
my mate used to do muck away on that. Like, he used to pull all the gorilla shit out. Not by hand, but like, he had the contract to take it away in tractors. Yeah, that was sad. But yeah, no, what is it like? Is it still good? I haven't been in years.
Yeah, no, it's a giggle. We thought, we'll take the boys, the monkeys crawling all over the car, that sort of thing. It'd be all great fun for them.
Did you lose anything?
No, all good. All good, yeah. I no longer have my VWT4, or else, there would have been bits coming off.
I was going to say,
left, right, and centre.
Any bit of loose rubber or plastic, it's gone.
I'd have been losing entire panels.
But just picking away at rust.
But no, the highlight of the whole day was the Kubota tractor next to the mini digger down by the lake. The little one is tractor mad, and so lions, tigers, doesn't matter. No, a Kubota of all things, Couldn't even be a decent tractor, could it?
Shots fired! Jesus, I don't want to hear what you think about a Landini, Christ.
Well, at least it's got a bit of Italian style, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
it's not quite a Lamborghini.
It's something. Yeah, so are the monkeys still as ferocious? Like you said, they didn't pull it. They are. They're ferocious. Just the way.
Yeah, there was a discovery in front of us, and there was wiring coming out of panel gaps everywhere, being nibbled on. It was hilarious. So what I could recommend is go by all means. Before you get to the monkeys, just wait to the side and wait for someone to come past with a Land Rover or some sort of people carrier, something that has some panel gaps you can get fingers in, and just hang behind that. It is just, this discovery was covered in all sorts of extra lights and lamp bars and you name it, it had it on it. They were all still attached, but I bet you not a single one would have worked.
I suppose the thing didn't stop.
You see, imagine seeing some D2 goes through and a baboon just walks off with the rear third of the chassis.
That's mine now.
Chimpanzee fucking off with the roof tent. Cheers, mate. Oh, Christ. Is it? Well, he's gone now, isn't he, old Lord Bath?
Yeah.
Is his wifelets still knocking around?
Which one?
Well, he had a few wifelets, he called them, didn't he? He had quite a few.
Strange bloke, very strange bloke.
Oh, he was a character, though, wasn't he? It's like, I think when you just get to that old, you have that much money, it's like, what else are you going to do? Like, didn't he knocked around all day in like pajamas with a weird little hat and a massive white beard, just
doing the odd bit of painting, and that was about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, mental as fuck.
No, eccentric. When you have that much money, you're eccentric.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I think my grandfather's getting there slowly. Yeah. What another camera? $7,000, I think it was, yeah. Oh, the last check is going to bounce.
I borrow it for tomorrow.
The last check's going to bounce. That's what we say. What about you, Marlon? Much on?
It's been a fucking week, mate.
Go on, tell me. Oh, tell me some. What? Oh, everyone loves it. Worst job of the week, Marlon.
L322.
No, really?
Yeah, I've had a fucking week of L322s.
I'm going to have to sell one at some point, so if you could really stop bad mouthing them, that would be great.
Don't buy one. Really, don't fucking buy one. Came in, no audio. Shout out, Hector.
Oh, is this the one you were on about in the week? Blank check job.
Jesus Christ. I think the bill was like $2,000. You want it working, there's only so much I can do.
How old was it?
06.
Oh my God. Just full of water, I bet.
Full of water. The amp was full of water. The main unit was full of water. And it had a Chinese head unit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
basically-
no. It ticks all the wrong boxes.
Tried to sort it out on the original units with replacing all the connectors.
For new ones or for like
you can't buy them
no,
new.
but you can-
And
same with
there
the
was one
P38
amp on
ones.
eBay. So
what?
yeah, class is working. Tried to make it all work. Nope. So I ended up ripping all the interior out and rewiring the cunt.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So
oh no, I think 07 onwards are fiber. Am I right in saying?
I don't know what year it came in, but this is not fiber.
Oh, thank God for it. I was going to say, imagine you running fucking...
I ain't running fiber cables. You shove that up your ass. Yeah, so I literally ripped the whole thing out, put a new loom in it to bypass the amp and the unit. So it's basically just running off the head unit now.
Oh, so the amp is built into the Chinese Hingyong head unit.
Well, it's your standard 50 watt outputs, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So you've got like 1200 watts of Harden Carmen being run by a 50 watts only.
Yeah.
What? You'd be better off with a Bluetooth speaker on the dash.
Yes,
What a
Hector, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. What a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we're in the middle of remortgaging because our fixed term's up. That got fucked up.
What?
So I don't know if it was somebody's fault. I'm not taking responsibility.
You are really in management now, aren't you? Or middle management. Just blame it on everyone else.
The thing is, I've only filled in a couple of forms, like what's my name?
I filled in one of your forms.
Yeah, you did.
I nearly
You nearly fucked that up.
I nearly went on as a co-signatory on the mortgage. Nearly signed in the wrong box. I nearly ended up with only a third
Liable for half his debt.
third of Marlon's house.
For some reason,
Probably me.
the fucking form, something's been filled out wrong, and the takeover date was wrong.
Oh,
So-
what, there was like a gap, or was it overlapping?
It was early.
Oh, so overlap.
So TSB sent us a letter saying we owe them fucking $2.5 grand because we're leaving the mortgage early. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Got on the phone to the fucking mortgage advisor, then the solicitors, and I was just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Mortgage advisor, you sort it out.
But the thing is, it's kind of what you pay them for. It's like they do it all, try and get a better rate than the banks. And it's your problem, not mine. Just I'll send you my passport and some pictures of some earnings, and the rest of it's your problem.
Yeah. It's,
Did it get sorted?
yeah.
Yeah.
About 4 days later.
You enjoying your the lovely interest rate? Thank you, Liz.
No, it fucking sucks.
What you need to do is write a letter to Liz Truss thanking her so much for creating such a wonderful economy, and for just ask her maybe if with that 120 grand a year or whatever she's getting, whether she could just chip in a little bit, maybe help out.
I hope she gets hung.
Fucking hell, Jesus.
She fucked it right up.
Well, I think it was always going on that trend, but
Yeah,
she
she just encouraged
did
it.
not help in any way, shape, or form.
What else have I done?
You've repaired a Land Rover, fucked up your own mortgage. Have you done anything sort of neutral this week?
Yes!
Oh my god, fuck.
I bought the last console to finish my set, which I wanted.
Can I guess what it is?
Go on.
So you've got an NES?
No.
No? You did? You said you had last week. You said you bought an NES.
Oh, have I already said it?
Yes, you fucking plum. You
Right.
bought an NES.
Cut that out then.
So, I knew you had a SNES, and then you said you bought an NES last week with the foldy uppy clicky
Yeah,
downy.
yeah.
All right. So
It arrived today, which reminded me. and I was
oh, I
like,
see.
I don't know if I said that or
it's
not.
actually no. You said you'd bought it. You didn't say it had arrived. Does it work? Is it good? Is it?
I haven't tried it because by the time I got home, it was about when I messaged you,
Oh right, yeah.
and then I quick turnaround.
Oh, get down here.
Yeah.
Well, let us know how it goes. You got any games for it or not?
Yeah, we got Battletoads, and have you not heard of Battletoads?
Battletoads? What the fuck are you on about? What is?
You've not heard of Battletoads.
Is it like a fucking little version of Frogger?
Battletoads was huge back in the day. It's a very collectible game, actually.
Back in the day, the 1700s. Okay.
That's about 50, 60 quid game, that is.
Is it fucked?
Yeah. Mate, some of them go like, if you won, I think it's called Outburst or something, that's about $2.5 grand with box and instructions.
I know that Conker's Bad Fur Day for the N64
Oh, yeah.
is like hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, for the NES, it's even more.
What?
Yeah, you can get seriously in debt.
Well, I think you're going in on that sort of trend anyway, by the sounds of things.
No comment.
You can't just use that because Alex is here. That's not how. He's not your solicitor. If anything, he's the one interrogating.
Yeah, you want to cough to everything.
No. Say nothing. Say nothing. If I've learned anything in life, it is say nothing and ask for a solicitor. I'm not doing.
You're gonna make me work for my money, then, yeah?
Oh yeah, damn right. Oh dear. Right. Let's get into it, Alex. Mate, talk us through it. What do you do?
No longer a PCSO.
No comment.
No longer a PCSO.
No longer a PCSO.
We'll get onto that in a minute.
So obviously left the joys that was Hot Fuzzville, and the wonderful Mendips and trials and tribulations are dealing with some of the people around here, for the big city. Worked my way through basic career as a response cop.
What's a response cop?
Answering the 999 calls. So your normal
right.
sort of, as opposed to neighbourhoods.
Right.
So you have sort of a number of specialisms within policing, but you've got sort of some fairly fundamentals. You've got a neighbourhood team, which will be a mixture of PCs, PCSOs, and a sergeant or two that will look after a town and do the village bobby bits, the vulnerable people, the teenagers who regularly go missing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a response base as well who will cover the 999 calls.
Oh, I see.
So they'll come out to do
You're just
the
there.
car crashes, the domestics,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. And most forces will start people with a on a response team.
That is
dealing with the 999
chucking
calls.
you in at a fucking deep
Yeah,
end.
absolutely.
Is
Because
that the
you
whole
learn
idea?
everything then, don't you?
Yeah.
You literally you go to whatever the next call is that comes in. So by definition, you're going to start learning every aspect of the trade. You might then find you're particularly drawn towards traffic and want a shiny white hat and go down that route.
They call
They
them
are strange
Wanky
people.
Hyundai.
call them black rats, don't they? Because they eat their own.
Yeah.
They'll do cops
Yeah.
for speeding. They're bastards.
And yet, when you drive down the motorway, you'll see the odd black rat sticker in the back of car windscreens. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a
absolutely.
thing?
Yeah. Look out for it. Look out for it. Little circular, sort of black face of a rat on a white background.
And that's
You do see them.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Certified
Tends to be sort of M25-ish neck of the woods.
Yeah,
You tend to sort of,
yeah.
but you do get them sort of drifting out. M3, M4. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that with mine. They go out to the straw bar and the bastards. They work their way out the cattle sheds. They get everywhere, the little cunts. What would you say would be your, like, I don't know, what did you get drawn to being a response cop? So you see, you did everything. Was there anything in particular that you were like, yeah, this is where I want to go? Because what you do now is totally fucking different from any of that shit. But
Yeah, no. It's really one of those that gives you the flavour for everything. And the bit I really loved about it, and one of the things that sort of drew me back to it a little later in the career, was just variety. You can have a great plan for, okay, I've got XYZ crimes on my account and I'm going to go and speak to that witness again and get that bit of CCTV to progress this crime or whatever else. You come in and you've not even got your stab vest zipped up yet and the radio's going and there's, a 3-car pile up or whatever else and you're straight out the door. It's just that complete unknown, the variation. Yeah, you never know what that next call is going to be. I remember spent 3 hours one afternoon chasing around after a crashed hot air balloon. I mean, it turns out, funnily enough, that when a hot air balloon lands, they slow down the landing by firing off the burners and putting a bit more warm air in the thing. When you're a tourist and you're looking at this in the distance, you go, oh my goodness me, it's catching fire. Of course, they land, pack the thing up, drive off.
they're already gone.
Yeah, and you and half the fire brigade sort of trekking around for hours and then trying to find this burning wreck of a hot air balloon that isn't there anymore for obvious reasons. and deep down in your soul, that's exactly why it's not there.
But you have a duty to...
But there could be someone literally toasting to a crisp in a corner of a field somewhere, and you got to be looking for it.
Oh, trust me, farmer would be out there with a shotgun if he'd gone into a field of wheat that's ready to come off and he was on fire. Yeah, they wouldn't be there for long.
Is a cheap bottle of Prosecco as a sorry for landing in your
You
field?
don't
guy?
even get that anymore. You don't even get Prosecco. It really fucks me off. We had one come down 2-3 years ago in my ground, and I had a cheap bottle of red wine. I said, you may as well fire them fucking burners up and fuck off. Oh, sorry, mate. I said, what happened to Prosecco or whatever it was? He said, oh, times are hard, mate. I said, times are hard. You just flattened a load of me grass, you prick.
How many times a night can you trigger him with farming talk?
Oh yeah,
It's really fucking easy to trigger him.
It was easier when I didn't say what I did. It was so much easier. I just had to sit here and bite my lip. But now I'm just under the fuck hinged.
You can always suggest building that wall between Scotland and, England.
Don't even. What? Why are you?
That's a waste of bricks. We've got enough trouble down here. We don't need to import it, and they know it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with there. Look at the state of the SMP at the moment. Was it Hamza Youssef is not going well for him, is it? No. That's actually something I wanted to ask you about. Why is he such an fucking hell?
You're right, mate. Authoritative?
Yeah, authoritarian or whatever you call it. He is like looking to. If he wants hand building a wall,
on your man.
There's some legislation that he's trying to pass, which basically, if you get like arrested by the police or whatever for something, and they find offensive like memes basically on your phone, he's trying to pass something that puts you in jail for 7 years. Mate,
who the fuck does he think he is?
Mate, I am not getting out of prison. I am dying an old man. What the hell? I don't want. Like, I don't. And the thing is, he doesn't even hide it. He is very much like, I want this to come in, and I want
Who
to
do
do
you think
this.
he is? Hitler?
I don't know, man. It's strange. I just don't. I don't think he's going to last. Personally, I mean, I don't have any. I haven't got a horse in
Well,
the
the
race.
thing is, if we build the wall, we won't have to worry about
Can you
him.
fuck off with your wall, Jesus, Marlon? It takes you 3 years to put a patio slab down, you prick. You ain't building no wall.
I'm going to get Steve from SC Sides because he's just doing his patio.
Oh,
he's
God.
going to help me build the wall. He's planning on doing it a weekend, mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You don't want to fucking do that, mate.
Watch out. A patio might get made in the next 10 years.
It's not going to get made with one bag of concrete that's already set.
You know, you don't even need to see it. You just know what he's got in the corner there, don't you?
Yeah, there is one bag of concrete which is already set.
So
And
that
a
was
split open bag of sand.
so that was where you got to. Let's wind it back. Let's try and be a bit more timeline orientated.
We know you.
We know, yeah.
Back in the day, we were the scum.
Did I ever think I'd be sat across the desk doing a podcast with the man that chased me out of Wells after doing a burnout in Tesco's?
Can you move on now, please?
Oh, we haven't even started.
No, let's really get into it, Marlon, because I'm sure you've got a lot more. Because
The thing is, I was always well behaved. Relatively,
you had
Yeah,
an
no,
English-
say?
I got to say that. Definitely one of the better behaved.
yeah. So we were job centre car park.
job centre. No, like, what is now Waitrose? Yeah, it used to
Yeah.
be job centre, didn't it?
We obviously used to congregate there in our mad whips.
Yeah.
All the tunes going on, a couple of burnouts before they ruined it, obviously with the speed bumps and stuff. That was the time of our lives, wasn't it?
It was. I think I don't know if it's so much a thing anymore because I occasionally go to McDonald's with the wife or with Mule, and there doesn't seem to be the congregations.
There was a few.
Is it tyres and petrol? It's getting too expensive. I mean, even back then, there'd be times I'd come into the car park and there'd be 4 or 5 cars parked up. And I know full well you'd be car sharing over to McDonald's in street.
That's so true as well.
Because even then, I mean, it was what? Petrol was still under a pound a litre.
Yeah.
And even then, you were car sharing all the way across the street from Mackie D's.
We'd be 4 up in the Lupo because the cunt was LPG. The boys would be like 42 pence a litre. Let's go and reg as Lupo. Oh, man. I mean, we've all got, let's probably to be fair, a lot of the people on the show have got history with you, Alex. So we've got Mr. Hill.
My little sister.
Your little sister. Javen.
Yeah, Javen's got more than a bit of history.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, please. Can we elaborate or not?
I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know where to start. There was just, yeah. I mean, if I was ever short of work to do, I could just drive around or even just call up the CCTV control center because, of course, that was the best thing. Let's go and be silly in a car park that is literally covered end to end in CCTV cameras. I mean, genius, absolute genius. So yeah, if I was ever short of paperwork for a month, Javen could be guaranteed to do something stupid, like get a BMW with the world's loudest exhaust. So much so that when he's doing Tingles roundabout sideways,
You can hear him.
I can hear him, and I'm looking at the roundabout for 5 minutes, going, "Yeah, any minute now he's gonna." Yeah, oh look, oh there he is. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he just made life far too easy, quite frankly.
The thing is, he'd have a new car every week, so it'd just be a matter of like, see what he's driving this week, and just go look for that. Really, it was all. But the bastard, he was clever, wasn't he? It would always be tax insured and MOT'd every single time because he knew that he'd be doing some flagrant shit in that thing. So it was always a matter of, right, make sure I'm all above board. So at least when I do get stopped for going sideways into somewhere, they'd be like, well, it's all fucking tax insured, isn't it? I've done anything wrong, have I?
And to be fair, that was the whole point of my job. If I'm there most evenings and I'm seen by everyone, they know it's only a matter of time before their details get washed through the computer.
Yeah.
And so they know they're not going to be an absolute tit, and they know their car has to be up together.
Yeah, I remember they go around with a notebook taking down number plates, and I'd be like, yeah, she's registered an agricultural vehicle, Shag. If only.
I expect he's still got S870 ADC written down somewhere.
That was that baby blue one, wasn't it?
No, that was
your Saxo, wasn't it?
Yeah. The silver Saxo.
And then you went to the Ignis.
That was
No one cares.
STO4JVL.
Well, that's nice for you and your memory.
Just reminiscing now. I expect you got Jago down somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Big Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally just going through the list of people.
Shit, who else we got?
That was a Skyline, wasn't it? At one stage.
He had a S14 before the Skyline, the blue S14 he had. Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Integra.
Yeah, DC2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Import.
No, a Civic before that. Yeah, he's about 1 million Civics.
Yeah, he's had a couple.
Yeah. The next 5.
Askins.
Oh, Skins.
I know he listens.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Get on, Skins.
Again, though, I don't think the odd, but nothing
Skins
major.
was
Nothing major.
Skins was too busy getting AirTech sprayed on the front of his intercooler to be doing anything fucking crazy, wasn't he?
I know, we did some shit in that Saxo.
Yeah, so what drew you to becoming a PCSO in your local town as well? Because, you know, that comes with like a certain amount of like, oh, fucking hell, Alex is a PCSO now. What are you going to do, nick me?
I got into policing in a sort of very roundabout way. I was up at uni, and amongst other bits and pieces, I was studying languages. So I grew up abroad, I speak a bunch of languages, and so I figured, well, if I manage to combine at university economics, German, and a bit of philosophy, I can read the Communist Manifesto once and write essays on it in all three. So essentially, I was just condensing my reading list, the amount of work I had to do, because I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I like that.
It's all up there, man. It's all up there.
So having come out with some languages amongst other bits and pieces as part of the degree, I thought, I'll go and do some translation and interpreting work. Bad idea.
Really?
Bad idea. I mean, it pays relatively well, but it is bloody hard work.
Really?
It literally scrambles your brain. It is not easy to do.
Like, even though they're speaking one language, you've got different dialects.
It's more the fact you're working on 3 sentences at once. So if you're talking to me now and I'm translating it into another language, I've got to remember the sentence you've just said, work out the translation and be saying that at the same time as listening to the next sentence you've already started.
Yeah.
It scrambles your brain.
I never really thought of that.
And it pays quite well, but not well enough for what it does to you.
Yeah.
But I came out and was looking at websites for translation and interpreting work. Council of Europe, EU, you name it. And a number of the EU web pages had some quite interesting secondments posted on there for Europol. I thought, ooh, this looks interesting. But you couldn't apply directly. You had to come in through a recognised police force.
Oh, so you had to start
you
at the bottom.
had to go, absolutely, as we're sort of policing through and through, you had to start at the bottom and work your way up. So I thought, well, okay, I'm living in Avon and Somerset. I'll apply there as a cop. And they'd had a load of applications in over sort of a summer period. It was getting towards winter by the time they'd done all the vetting bits and pieces and started worrying about who we're going to have in for interviews and whatever else. And actually by then, they'd filled their quota for the year and they were more than happy.
Right.
So I had a phone call saying, look, we'd love to offer you the interview. We'd love to get you in, but
we've got no more
our
room.
quota's full. However, on the strength of the paper sift bits and pieces you've done, we can offer you a job starting January as a PCSO. I was like, well, it's a foot in the door. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
And so that's how that sort of literally fell in place. And then the whole time, sort of, I was there, 5 years?
As long as that was it?
Yeah, about that long.
Jeez.
Because, of course, that's when all the first round of big public sector pay freezes happened. And so everybody who was initially had applications out and stuff, all of a sudden cut them and, wasn't doing them. We started losing neighbourhood staff around about that time as well. They were cutting back numbers everywhere. And so, yeah, a job that I wanted with the blue flashy lights, the fast cars, all the rest of it, just wasn't on the cards at that point.
Yeah. Right.
Then, funnily enough, meet a girl from Bristol. Things start getting serious, and it's now, okay, yeah, now we'll take you as a transfer all the way down, cross country. It's like, ugh. Thankfully, she stuck with me. Yeah, she moved down there with us. So moved further east and had my lovely bit as a response cop, which was great fun. There is nothing like it. Don't get me wrong.
Was that Met or Thames Valley? Or
Hampshire?
Oh, Hampshire. Oh, Hampshire.
Bloody hell.
I bet it all went on in Hampshire.
Somebody's parked outside my front gate.
Drop me fucking Rolex, so I have.
That would be the New Forest, which is a very niche part of Hampshire. Besides that, you've got
Ryan Murphy.
Southampton.
Oh,
You've got Portsmouth.
Oh, no.
You've got the Paras up in Aldershot. And you've got the London Sink estate that is Andover.
I was literally in Andover this week. Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Came back with wheels.
I tell you what, I went up. Well, that's something this week. There you go. I knew there was something. I went off with my sister to go buy a fucking a tent box. Anyone know what a tent box is? Oh God, don't get me started. My sister has got this obsession with having a tent box. So it's basically, imagine like a clamshell roof box, but when you unclip it, it comes up on gas rams. It's a roof tent, but in a clamshell. So you literally unclip it and it goes like that, vertically up. And then it's got like a memory foam mattress in there. It's like a zip up. It's very, very nice. She is just hell-bent on this fucking nomadic lifestyle thing. I don't know. Maybe she's going through some fucking...
Okay, man.
Yeah, cool, man. I don't know. God love me sister, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. Anyway, so let's go buy this bloody thing. It was actually in Berkshire. We obviously had to go through...
Big up the Berkshire Turf Wars.
Newbury, Andover. And the only thing I know about Andover, it's got a really fucking confusing roundabout there. Really, really confusing. We went out 3 times. And my sister was laughing uncontrollably, and all I wanted to do was get home to bed because it was 10 o'clock. And that was, no.
What is it, like a funny shape, or has it got a roundabout on a roundabout on a roundabout?
How do you describe it? It's the...
Which one?
It's the roundabout where you've got McDonald's, Mole Care, Mole Valley, Mole Country stores.
Okay, yeah, and you got the 303. So
yeah, 303 and the motorway-ish, kind of that way. It's like, imagine like an oval, but then there's 2 roundabouts kind of that make up the oval.
Yeah.
100 Acre Roundabout.
Is that what it's called?
It's called 100 Acre Roundabout. It's right by HQ Land Forces. So if you want, the head of the army, that's where they're based. McDonald's on the other side.
Of course.
If you think of us like a figure of 8 roundabout, if you had 2 big roundabouts next to each other in a big figure of 8, lose the bit where they cross over in the middle as a figure 8 and just make it a giant oval, then run the 303 through underneath it.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 circles. It is a complete mess, and no one is ever in the right lane.
No.
That roundabout. No, I have been to more than a few smashes on that roundabout for exactly that reason.
Nearly my fucking sister. We went around it 3 fucking times. The first time, she wasn't looking at any of the signs, and she wasn't looking at her sat nav. And I said, "Where the fuck are you going?" She's like, "I don't really know." We're back in the same point. Which I said, "Well, fucking follow the signs. Fucking follow the signs. Stop fucking worrying about everything else. Follow the fucking signs." And of course.
Supportive as a passenger, this one, clearly.
Yeah. There was a sign for everything. Apart from the 303 westbound. I mean, there were...
that's because you got to go... You have to go halfway around the first roundabout, cross over the 303, start on the second roundabout, and there you'll see this nearly back onto yourself.
Nearly back on yourself.
You're facing McDonald's again when you fork off left.
Yeah. But literally, admittedly, there is no sign for the 303 west, but there are 2 massive national speed limits and 2 lanes.
It does say 303 Exeter.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it was fucking night, and I was very tired from
Glasses were dirty.
Have you ever tried to fucking lift
What's a
a
mess?
fucking 80-kilo roof box onto a 90 with roof bars on, and the bloke that's helping you is about 3 foot fucking nothing? It's quite difficult and quite taxing, and I was very tired.
Sounds like a him problem, doesn't it?
And I was in a bit of a food coma, so I got 3 double cheese into me. So
3.
yeah, man, I just gotta go. I mean, I must start the hill this week, man. I must start the hill.
I shall drop it round the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, no, Andover, nothing really to report. It's just kind of but what I saw of it was like, bleh, just kind of, is it a bit more than bleh? Is it a bit like...
It has its moments.
Oh, really?
It's one of those strange ones because you've got some quite old, quite run-down sink estate, sort of smack bang in the middle.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes outside of town, you've got houses with fishing rights that are worth sort of 30, 40 grand at the bottom end of the garden. And everything in between. You know, it is just...
One extreme to the other.
Yeah, literally within 5-10 minutes of each other. It is just... And so you've got the complete variety. You've got some quite nasty domestics. You've got problem youths with naff all to do, only instead of having a job centre car park, they've got lovely overpasses over the road, and, you know, it seems like a great idea to drop things off them.
Oh, nice.
Then
we weren't that cunty.
No.
No, well, there's only one overpass, isn't there? And that's right by the Blue School, and where's the street cred in doing that? So, yeah.
No. Don't go being a dick.
Whereas then you get out to the countryside, and, you know, you've got
Rural crime.
trout fishing that's worth a small fortune, and you've literally got gamekeepers on every inch of the river.
Yeah.
You've got hare coursing, you've got big stretches of open countryside, with Salisbury Plain on your doorstep, and the people coming out to do silly things there.
Yeah.
The people coming out to steal things and then vanish across Salisbury Plain because it's a nice big open space. Yeah, and you're in such easy commuting distance to London that you get a lot of the drugs and the bits and pieces that come out there, the county lines.
Yeah, my sister-in-law that was saying, she was like, most of our stuff is just, you know, we're the... Well, I take the piss out of her, and you said initially, that's where I got it from, was, oh, she's Thames Valley. And she's like, oh, so everything that comes from London, she says, is London's problem, and everywhere that comes from the West, that's the West's problem, and they're just in the middle going, yeah, not really too much going on, to be honest.
No, like catching them swans,
Yeah,
Literally.
I've definitely not heard of officers taking off handbrakes and just letting it roll over the border into Hampshire. No, definitely never heard of anything happen like that. It's one of those rumours that's
your
sort of one of those
paperwork
urban
now.
myths that, you know, that one time they did.
Yeah, that's it. Can I roll it back? And I want to ask you. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Avon and Somerset Constabulary.
I wish they'd hurry up my license.
They'll get round to it, mate. It's just like everything that happens down here. Everything happens a little bit slower down here, mate. It's just all right. I have this thing that, you know, obviously Edgar Wright wrote Hot Fuzz, and he says that he based the film on Avon and Somerset Constabulary. I believe that to be true. What's your opinion? Who's a man that's worked there?
Yeah, it's a documentary. The trolley boy worked for Tesco's, not Summerfield, but apart from that, it's a documentary. And that the only 2 kids allowed at a time.
Yes,
that exists, but in a different newsagents.
Yes, that was right.
Apart from that, it's pretty much spot on.
It's bang on.
It is scarily accurate. I mean, okay, the property store is never that big that you're going to fit that many guns in there. And sea mines, come on. It's been a little while since the levels flooded. We're talking Jurassic times before you had a sea mine around here. But no, it is, frighteningly accurate.
No, deactivated, didn't
It's just so. I was actually speaking to someone who will remain nameless, who used to be a firearms officer. This is going back years. And she said she had to go around and do all the checks on the gun safes and whatever. And she had to go around to this farmer's house. And she go, hang on, I'll come through the back door. And the back door was propped shut with a double barrel. She was like, you know that shit? Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about it. Yeah, I don't even think he works anymore.
Deactivated.
Yeah. Literally, deactivated.
Rusted shut is not deactivated. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I think you struggle to tell a lot of farmers that. No, the problem is he won't fit in the safe. He's too long. Not an excuse.
You can't cut the barrel, allegedly, can you?
No,
Bad idea.
no. That you don't get ruby ridged, all right? You
It's
know,
a joke.
Don't get
Calm down.
Don't get ruby ridged. Yeah. Man who's put in for a shotgun license making jokes about cutting barrels off. Nice one, Marlon. I don't know why it's not here yet.
They were just waiting for you to give an excuse to refuse it, which I think you just done.
Cut out, Reg.
Fuck them.
So you said you sort of had a clear vision before you'd even joined the force of what you wanted to do.
Where you wanted to end up.
Yeah, where you wanted to be.
Yeah, it certainly started with that vision, and the funny thing is, it's a phenomenon that happens. You start with a great idea, you go into policing, and you typically start at response policing, and because it is such a close-knit team,
Yeah.
you can't really ever see yourself leaving. And I came back later in my career as a response sergeant, and so you're there in charge of a shift, which also includes sort of tutoring and mentoring some of the younger members on the shift, younger in service, not necessarily age.
Yeah, the rookies.
And they come in with great ideas, and all of a sudden, they just lose that. And part of it is almost
The team aspect.
keeping the dream alive. I mean, it sounds incredibly corny, but reminding them that, yes, you're part of this team and you're a valued part of this team, but if you find a better role elsewhere, and if you are better suited at another role elsewhere,
Don't get stuck in a rut.
the team will carry on without you.
That's so true.
They'll miss you,
Yeah.
and yes, it'll be crap for the first couple of weeks until we
Yeah.
find a replacement, but the organisation will quite happily replace you
Yeah.
in what is ultimately the bottom rung of the ladder. That starting point for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you have a specialism that you've got your eye on, go for it. But of course, I was one of those. I came in and, you swept up with the team and it's all go, and it's this job that we had last week and Joe Blogs who come around again, and you just get stuck in that day-to-day, 2 days, 2 late, 2 nights, 4 off sort of shift pattern, and you just live for that next set. You lose that bit of perspective, and thankfully, one of my colleagues went, have you looked at routine orders this week? Because they've just advertised for a post that I think you ought to go for with your languages. It's in the Intel department, and you're thinking, ooh, Intel, hang on, wait a minute, I've not got that much service in yet, and, it would mean leaving the team, and then what does it, you end up all sort of scared to move almost.
Almost institutionalized.
Yeah, very much so. Very much. I mean, you will get officers who've been on a neighbour team or on a response team for a decade or more, easily, and they can't picture doing anything. Don't get me wrong.
Any different.
For the most part, they're very, very good at what they do.
Yeah.
Not always. And it suits some people, but for the vast majority, I'd say there are so many different roles in it. It is one of those where, yes, you are one person doing a job as a cop, but there are so many different options out there, from firearms licensing through to dealing with hazardous materials, through to licensing at pubs, whatever else it happens to be. Horses, dogs, guns, boats, such a vast arena. And people tend to get stuck in that one mindset. I was very lucky that I had that opened, went for it, thought there's no way in hell I'm getting this, and got it. Never looked back.
How long ago was that?
September 2015. I started.
Oh, nice. So
I started that role.
Nearly 8 years ago then.
Yeah. Went off on honeymoon straight away. I was literally in for 2 days, buggered off on honeymoon for 2 weeks to Barbados drinking rum.
Bet that went no fucking well.
What can they say?
Yeah, I forget.
I nearly didn't get permission to attend my own wedding. I put in an annual leave request, August bank holiday, and Julie's came back, no, sorry, refused. Like, no, you don't understand. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to a wedding. This is my wedding. If I don't go,
there is no wedding.
I am dead. Forget the wedding. There'll be a funeral, which I will not be attending. Well, I will, but in body, not in spirit.
I give the future wife your number, and now it's your problem.
And duties came back. No, computer says no. No. I need this. Oh, you'll have to get a superintendent to sign off on it then. So bounces his way up through the chain of command, comes back, one word authorized straight away.
Just yes.
The human factor comes in there and goes, no, actually, come on.
He probably should be at his wedding.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can pull in a favour from somebody that's done too many sickies kind of thing.
Maybe we can't let the entire shift go to the wedding, but let's at least let the groom go.
Oh, so shit, you were going to have like a lot of your shift were going to go.
Well, no, it was one of those that I knew on an August bank holiday there was no way in hell
you were going to get
that was ever going to work.
Yeah.
From minute one, policing bank holidays, you tend to reduce the numbers on a bank holiday only because cops. That's one of the few times that cops. I think it's the only time cops still get double time. So police officers are expensive bodies on a bank holiday.
Yeah.
So
and there's not really much going on.
Well, us drunken idiots.
Never say the Q word kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
it varies. But yeah, for the most part,
just a lot of day drinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there was no way in duties were ever going to. I mean, if they weren't going to let me go to my own wedding, there was no way in hell they were going to let
No,
sort of 12
nobody else.
other officers go or whatever else. So no.
All right, I think that's a good time to cut to a break, Marlon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We'll be back with Beer of the Week this time.
Ooh.
Beer of the Week. Beer of the Week. Right, we'll be back. Love you all. Ciao.
Love you. Bye.
And I'm back from the fridge. But before we get into Beer of the Week, massive shout out to the sponsor of this episode. Marlon, what have we just been eating during the break?
Oh my days.
I feel good, man. I feel good. I've not even managed to finish it. It's so dense. It's so good.
So, obviously, Sean, the chef, is the sponsor of the episode. Before the episode started, I went down, picked up some good treats from him. Whole box full.
It's the weight of the box itself that really gets you. I remember when Dick
And I
Bush
had
was
to
on.
carry it around. Got the sack truck out.
Get a pump trucks. Honestly, there are really no words. You have to order it to find out.
Yeah.
It's so good. What, Alex, what were your thoughts?
Epic.
It's just so good. You said that you've been to Clark's Village before and just had a...
Yeah, before I realised, he was a sponsor here and all the rest of it, they looked so good at Clark's Village, picked up a couple. I mean, they're obscene. They're like 50 million calories a bite, but they are delicious.
They're just too good, I'm honest. Every time I see him put a post up, I'm like, God damn. The wife's like, yeah, we could go on then. All right, let's go. I just honestly, so massive shout out to Sean the chef. If you can hit him up on Instagram, which is what, Marlon?
That is Sean the Chef one.
And you can look at him now, find him at his new
Brand spanking new website,
which is www.seanthechef.shop, where you can order online, postal delivery. He's got it all going on. So yeah, I mean,
imagine that. Imagine ordering it online and it just gets delivered to your door.
I can't. I wish I could describe to you how fucking good this is. I tell you what, Marlon, should we do something? Let's do something. Fuck it. Shall we?
All right.
Think of something. We'll do a giveaway, but how are we going to do it? I tell you what, if you order merch, right? If you order merch on this episode, what are you going to do? He's looking at me like, you're doing hand signals to me, Reg. I don't understand what they mean. I tell you what, if you order merch when this episode comes out, 3 of you lucky bastards will be sent a fucking box from Sean the Chef, courtesy of us.
That's it. That'll run from when the episode gets released to, let's say...
Well, the next episode. So
not a week. No.
No? All right, sorry.
You need to get in. You need to get in fast.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, just
24 hours.
Just Friday, right? Just Friday. Yeah, from 1 o'clock Friday till 1 o'clock Saturday. Order merch.
Boom.
Then 3 of you lucky bastards that order some incredible merchandise will get a fucking box from Sean the Chef sent to you by Sean. So yeah, there you go. Awesome. Right, massive shout out to Sean. Thank you for sponsoring this episode, my man. Let's get back into Beer of the fucking Week. Marlon, what is this?
This is Co-op Prix Garanti. Beer blonde lager beer normal. I got a note here.
Go on in. Who sent it to us?
The Mad Pineapple.
The Mad Pineapple. Massive shout out to Matthew Schultz.
Good evening, scumbags, bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes. My deliveries have come in several parts. The joys of living in a country that likes nobody. So, the beer, hobo beer we call it, If it doesn't get a 1 out of 5, I'll be very disappointed.
Okay, you've managed to find some, so without any further ado, Marlon, if you could please read the marketing bullshit.
Co-op Cooperative is one of Switzerland's largest retail and wholesale companies based in Basel. Maybe this isn't actually beer bullshit.
You just reading the marketing bullshit for the co-op. It's owned by all its producers, hence why the name
Hold
Co-op.
tight. Co-op has a low-cost product line, Prix Guarantee, which is guaranteed low price for certain foods, drinks, and products.
Hence the hobo
Actually,
beer.
I say a low price, silly me, as this is Switzerland.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. I actually mean it's the least expensive product on offer. So they've decided to extend this scheme to cheap discounted beer co-op lager.
Wow. It's certainly a can.
It's half a litre. It's 4.8%.
Yeah, and that's about all I can say about it from looking at it. When I looked at it, I thought this is definitely on the cheaper end of the spectrum, being that the main thing it's got written on it is the word lager. So
That's it. You know it's cheap when it's got that plastered it.
there we go. Let's see what we think then.
But it's not a printed can.
No, it's true. Hey man, that ain't bad.
Not hideous.
That's not.
We have had drunk worse.
Speaking as a German beer expert, Alex,
It's very light.
it is, but I would say that is
For 4.8%?
It is strikingly light.
I was scared because the amount of bubbles you see on the outside of the pack,
I was thinking it's going to be really
it's going to be
overly
really gassy, but
carbonated
not,
to fuck. No,
not
it's
too bad.
a lot of silence going on, a lot of thinking in the bar this evening in the studio. It's not bad, man.
It's not, that's it. It's not offensive.
Do you know what I think,
It's a
Marlon?
slightly strange aftertaste.
What I think is that is perfectly between your perfect beer and my perfect beer. That's what I think. I think it's light enough and sort of refreshing enough to be your kind of beer, but it's also got enough, enough on the back end, enough sort of flavour and punch to be my kind of beer. So I think it's really hitting all the marks. I don't think it's going to get a 5 out of 5, but I don't know. I'm somewhere.
Sorry, Matt.
There's a lot of quietness. Come on. What?
It's all right.
It's all right. I'll tell you what. Fuck it. I'm free. 3. I'm sorry, Matthew. I know you wanted a fucking 1, but I reckon it's all right. I could that. To quote Jimmy Harris, Chef James, shout out. Festival breakfast. That is. That's festival breakfast. I reckon.
Not a bad shout.
It's festival breakfast. Alex, have we got a TripAdvisor?
I got to be honest, your 3 I think is a bit ambitious.
Gotta get the lawyers in.
I mean,
there,
look at the can.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't hold that can.
Yeah,
The aluminium is so thin, the thing is wobbling in your hand.
It does feel like they've really gone.
It's
the
efficient.
price
They're
guarantees
efficient.
come from somewhere.
Efficient.
I'm going 2 on that one.
Marlon.
If I saw it next to Budweiser, I probably would order Budweiser.
Yeah, well, you ordered Budweiser over anything.
I don't think, to be fair, they'd ever serve this somewhere where you can order beer. You're going to have to carry this up to the till yourself.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I could use that so many times. Thank you.
So why? Yeah, I'm at a 3. Like, it's not offensive. I mean, you can tell it's a cheap beer.
Right. I don't. Co-op Grand Prix.
Guarantee.
Beer, blonde, lager, beer, normal. Sorry, I'm eating some Shaun the
Hi,
Chef.
Pappy.
I always have this rule: don't eat on the podcast. And I'm just totally ignoring it. Right? Yeah. So overall, that's a 3 out of 5. Wonderful. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it, man. Stop eating. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. Right. Let's get back into it, Alex. So you left the response team, and where did it lead you from there then?
The snazzy world of intelligence.
Ah.
Sneaky squirrel.
Secret squirrels. Not quite.
MI69.
Not quite. GCHQ.
No. So your every one of the 43 police forces in England and Wales has their own intelligence department.
Really?
Yeah, they will.
You wouldn't know it.
We're not
I think that's the
talking.
whole idea, isn't it?
We're not talking the intelligence services. We're talking everyone seen line of duty, chizzes, covert human intelligence sources, grasses. Everybody loves to tell the police stuff, whether it's because they really don't like their neighbour and the fact that during COVID they're out walking the dog 3 times a day, through to
Cunts.
a drug dealer who doesn't particularly like their rival, and whilst they're never going to directly grass them up, well, if we conveniently tell the cops this, that, or the other,
There's a strange car that keeps pulling up outside this specific fucking house.
information comes in, and every police force in England and Wales records that information. And sooner or later, you build enough of a picture that you can act on it.
I did not know this. What the fuck?
Well, you always assume there's something going on in the
Well,
background.
it kind of. But there's actually like is it a department or like an actual an amount of people that do this?
Yeah, everything that the
Even
police does
Somerset got a
is
swan.
recorded. Everything the police does either is a crime, in which case it gets recorded as a crime, or is still somehow going to be relevant to what's going on in the community and still needs to be recorded.
I
And so
suppose,
you
yeah.
have, it isn't all guns and drugs.
No.
There are other bits and pieces in there, Joe blogs, drink drives home, 2-3 times a week
Honest
from
Dave.
the dog and duck
Yeah.
to
Shit,
whatever.
really?
Yeah, all of that has to be recorded somewhere, or you're phoning up because your neighbour never taxes his vehicle. Admittedly, we record that and tell the DVLA about it, but all of that has to come in somewhere. All of that has to be processed. Anyone who tells the police anything, they have to keep the person details out of it. The source has to be kept safe.
Yeah.
So it all gets sanitized to the point that they'll remove sort of any references to male, female, anything like that. It is always, they make it as anonymous as possible. So that if the information is ever used, if it gets out there, colleagues reading it, frontline cops reading it,
Yeah.
No idea where it came
can't
from.
figure out where it came from. Exactly. And sometimes there's proper juicy jobs in there. Other times it's much lower down the bottom end of the scale. Matey boy was selling, perfume bottles down at the pub last weekend, whatever it happens to be. You get literally, the entire spectrum come through the office. I tended to deal with some of the more international elements, which was great fun. And you get some weird and wonderful jobs in amongst that lot. I mean, I've literally had, can I go and take a statement, please, for one kid that pushed another kid off a pontoon on holiday in Turkey?
No way.
Absolutely. Yeah,
What?
absolutely. And you're just thinking, seriously, at
was
home,
just
we
time
wouldn't
wasting.
deal with that. But it's come through. The Home Office lawyers have said, yeah, absolutely, UK police are going to help Turkish police deal with it.
No.
And so you do. And the best thing about it is, Turkish legal system is written in such a way that actually cops going and getting a statement isn't recognised. Most countries in the world don't have cops as investigators. The prosecutors, as in the lawyers or the judges or the magistrates, will be the investigating people. Cops are just there as thief takers. So they don't actually recognise a statement that's taken by cops. So you go and take said statement,
And
you've then got to get the statement and the witness in front of a judge to swear it out to say, yeah, the police officer wasn't twisting my arm and actually, yeah, it's all true, before it can get sent back.
That's how fucking.
The admin, the red tape
It's
is
not
don't know how
wank,
to-
is it?
Politically correct say this because a lot of other police forces in a lot of other countries are maybe not at.
Bent.
I'm trying to avoid that fucking word, you prick. Maybe don't operate to the standards of the British police force.
Every police force in the world does things differently, and all the police forces in England and Wales do things differently. There's 43 different forces, there's 50 plus different ways of doing it. There's a massive variety in everything. But yeah, some of the jobs that come through, you think, goodness me, really. I mean, we got a lovely Swiss beer here this evening. I had a request to go and interview a pilot. Didn't know he was a pilot, but a chap who was caught speeding in Switzerland. 7 kilometers an hour over the speed limit on a motorway
That's
at
like
2 in the morning.
5 miles an hour, basically.
Yeah. It comes with the timestamp, the photo, all the rest of it. You literally see the one car, nothing else in the background of the shot. It is literally 2 in the morning, and it's just like the tiniest little whisker over the speed limit.
And they're looking to prosecute for this?
Absolutely. A lawyer's put pen to paper, sent it in
No.
to our government, to the Home Office lawyers here, who've said, yep, absolutely, thank you very much, that's a valid request. Send it out to Force to deal with. So I had to go and interview him. He was an EasyJet pilot, late for his flight, so that was why he had his foot down in the rental car.
What a waste of
all, in
fucking
Switzerland,
money.
fines are means tested.
Yes, they are.
They
Yes.
absolutely are. So
There's the
if
sausage man. You know the story about the sausage man?
No, only the one about the EasyJet pilot.
Biggest speeding fine
Sausage
ever
man.
issued.
Do you
was
know
in,
the sausage man? The sausage man? The sausage man!
he lives on Cumberland Lane. No, the biggest fine ever issued was to a Swiss. You say Swiss or Swedish? Swiss. That's right. Sausage magnate.
What's a sausage magnate?
His father, or he owned a massive sausage company. Got caught speeding, and like you say, means
tested.
yeah. So you get fined
A percentage of your income.
The fine depends on what you earn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you get caught shoplifting and you're homeless and haven't got a pot to piss in, the fine's next to nothing. If you're a millionaire and you're shoplifting for kicks, if it's a 50p Mars bar, the fine may well run into the millions. So, needless to say, he coughed to it straight away. Yes, I was late for my flight. I was speeding, done, dusted. Apart from the 3-page A4 form on his financial circumstances. What's left on his mortgage, what he earns, what his wife earns, what the cars are worth, what's on the credit cards.
Don't they?
So it's literally like you have to drill down into exactly after all this has come out, what is left is your disposable income.
Well,
after.
had to ask the questions, yeah. It was up to him whether he chose to answer them or not, but absolutely.
Yeah, well, you would want to answer them because if the more you answer, the more you can say, well, that's got to come out and that's got to come out and that's got to come out. And after I pay for that, I've literally got like 30 pence left at the end of the fucking month because I fly for EasyJet. But
No, they're 80 plus a year, mate.
no.
I'm in the wrong job.
I should fucking say, Jesus. It's all autopilot after fucking takeoff and landing, isn't it?
And even then, with half the planes these days, they'll take off and land themselves.
Yeah. Not 737 Max, mate. You'd be all right.
Or a
So you had to go through all of that.
For 7 kilometers an hour of the speed limit.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of like the countries trying to waste our money.
No, I think it's like they just have a rule, and that's the rule. And like you say, if the Home Office said, yeah, absolutely fine. But is that the Home Office saying, yes, it's fine, and like just because that's the way they do it? Or is that just them trying to keep up good relations?
Part and parcel, yeah. So a lot of it is...
If they turn around and said, "Get
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours."
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we send a murder inquiry over, well, actually, come on, you couldn't even be bothered to deal with our...
Yeah.
and that was a simple, one line, did you do it, yes or no, and then just a simple form, and now you want us to go and do X, Y, and Z.
For 7 kilometers over the speed limit.
So, yeah, it's
There's a lot of investigation needed into Swiss banking.
Did you
so
get
you got
calibration certificate for the gun?
no, fixed speed camera.
Oh.
Proper sort of permanent, yeah.
We should have done a fucking Chris Bradford, shouldn't he?
I think it fucks me off is you got to pay £80 €80 a day or 80 euros a year to drive on their roads when you cross the border. It doesn't matter if you're there for fucking 3 hours or 365 days. You still got to pay the same amount. Bastards.
Robin Bastard.
I go the long way around through Austria if I were you.
I don't know. Well, I just love that Stelvio. I just can't help myself. I just can't go down it. So you not only in people UK citizens that commit crimes in other countries, you work in extradition as well?
Not directly.
No.
Not directly, although I am flight trained these days.
What is
Lovely day out at Heathrow Airport. Well, just outside of Heathrow Airport because they try not to let us anywhere near the actual airport.
Can't be trusted.
And they've got a lovely mock-up of a plane, and you as opposed to doing your annual sort of public order refresher where you end up putting handcuffs on each other and wrestling with each other in a massive gym somewhere, you get to do it in an aircraft body. If you've got a massive gym and you've got loads of space, it's great, but you try doing it down an aisle somewhere.
Down the 737.
It takes a bit of practice. Good fun. But yeah, nothing too dramatic, but yeah, you're just bending people over chairs, and of course, if you're playing the Stooge for the day, great fun, just tripping everybody up trying to get down an aisle.
So what's day to day looking like in the life of you then?
Day to day for me at the moment is mainly emails and phone calls.
Really?
For advice these days.
Are you missing the madness?
As a supervisor these days,
that's kind of the way it goes, really, isn't it?
It's very
All
much
the paperwork, none of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I did have quite a bit of fun. So when I went back, I did a couple of other jobs before I went back to response policing as a supervisor again. And I used to sit in the police station in a suit, doing the paperworky bits and pieces. But if there was a shout for a van, body armor would go on over the three-piece suit, straight out the door. It's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. And I can't sit there and listen to the radio and listen to them calling a van from halfway across the county when there's a set of keys on the wall behind me and there's a van just outside.
Let's fucking go.
You know, it's a Matalan suit for a reason. If it gets trashed, it gets trashed. It's not the end of the world. I'm not turning up in, hand-stitched winkle pickers and whatever else. It's just not worth it. But yeah, we joined the job to catch bad guys and to help people who need helping. So there's no point sitting there listening to the radio when there's something going on if you can go and get stuck in.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job?
Ooh, tricky.
There's a few factors there. You've got putting the bad guys in jail, bringing people to justice.
Let's go with catching the bad guys.
Yeah.
Putting them in jail is a whole other kettle of fish, and we'll leave that to the CPS. And that's one of the first things that you really have to learn as a police officer is they will come again, and it's our job to catch them and gather the evidence, not to lock them up. Because if you base your reason for being and your reason for doing the job on locking them up, you will get so frustrated, you will burn out in no time. That's not a fight you're going to win every time.
Half the time they let them go, don't they?
Well, it's just
and half the time the evidence isn't there. It's as simple as that. A lot of the time you see television programs and you've got a CSI out doing incredible things to figure out who done it. They cost a lot of money, these CSIs, and half the stuff they do on telly is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a CSI out.
What do you mean CSI Vegas isn't real?
It's real in as much as the same as the guns of Hollywood that never run out of bullets. The thing exists, but actually in reality, it doesn't work quite like that.
Yeah.
You can't magic stuff out of nowhere. If the evidence isn't there, the evidence isn't there. However, most of our crooks will do it again. And again, and again, and again. And
you'll catch them out.
Yeah, yeah. And because all the data's there in the background, all the previous times you've tried and not got quite far enough, actually, now that you've got them for something, the rest of the puzzle may well fall into place.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that is often one of the really rewarding bits. Personally, it's the turning up to complete and utter chaos. Someone's world has just completely fallen apart, be it a car crash, a violent crime, romance fraud, whatever it happens to be. Someone's world has just completely fallen apart. You're
always seeing people on the worst days of their lives.
Yeah, and you're trying to help them make sense of it. And actually, for us, it's very much routine. And part of it is remembering for them it is a major drama.
Yeah.
And trying to make sense of that and try and make them whole again. And at the very least, just calming everything down and making it feel, okay, it's happened.
But
we'll get there. Yeah, we may not get there the way you want, but we will help to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
And that's often, that's often one of the more rewarding bits. Sounds cheesy as hell.
No, but it makes sense.
Everyone gets into different things for their own.
Yeah, like I've spoken to coppers before. They're like, "Oh, my favourite part is putting heads into bonnets, and kicking in doors and stuff, and like everyone's in it for a different reason. Like everyone's in every. You could put 100 people in one job, and they're in that job for 100 different reasons. Some people to make money, some people to fulfil themselves, and I get it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, putting the doors in, the warrants, they are great fun. They're exciting, but actually, it's about a minute's worth of excitement for God knows how many hours of paperwork.
That big red key must be really fun to use for about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
We
if you use it right, otherwise you put your back out.
We had a copper on back along. Shout out to Ted, and we were talking about like the whole video in the cops, police the police kind of thing. Were you in at that point, or were you off the beat, off the street by the time that was coming in?
No, absolutely. And it's personally, I have no issue with it.
That's it. If you're doing your job correctly, as it should be done,
Absolutely.
put a body cam on.
Yeah. And all of us these days have personal issue body cams that literally you get back to the station, you plug it in, done. It uploads to a cloud straight away. It can't be messed with. It can't be tampered with. And actually, when they first came out, there was a lot of officers very nervous.
I'm not fucking having
I'm not switching it on, X, Y, Z. They are worth their weight in gold if you're doing the job you're supposed to be doing.
That's the thing, because you can shove an iPhone in my face as much as you want. I'm recording too, mate. So this is going to be, you can edit that there however the hell you want. This is just going to be raw footage, and it's going to show exactly what I've said. And like, I think it's one of those things where it's not going to weed out the in inverted commas bad cops, but you know, it's going to bring a lot of things
It's
to
going
light
to encourage it.
very fucking quickly. I see it in America whenever there's like a, you know, they call it like a not a bad shooting or something like that. Instantly, the police force will put the video out and be like, "Look, this is what happened.
This is what
you can
actually
say
happened."
what you want on social media about. This is what happened. This is exactly how it went down. Interpret it as you will. We think we back the police officer in his decisions. End of story."
And the Facebook edit is always that sensational sort of 1 minute clip
That's it. You don't
with
get
none of the lead up.
You don't get to
that's
see
it.
any of the
There's an
argument
hour.
or your man trying to fucking reach into the glove box for something or fucking reach down the side of something and rush the policeman and try and grab his gun. No, you don't see that. You just see matey getting fucking a Glock emptied on him while he's on the floor.
Did you see the one they pulled somebody over? I cannot remember where it was.
Oh, I think I know when you're going to say.
In a parking lot.
Is it the one where he goes for the policeman's gun?
No.
No?
He was identifying as a sovereign citizen or something.
You mean a fucking lunatic?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't comply with any of your rules. And the officer was like, no, just come on. I just need something, some form of identity.
Just tell me your fucking name.
Yeah.
Something.
So he called in for backup. Backup came, and they're kind of like, there's three of them surrounding the car just from one side. Nobody's got anything drawn. And he reaches down the side of his pocket. One of the officers opens the door, and there's a gun there, and they just unload on him.
Oh, that's it. The thing is, when you have the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, every policeman over there
Needs to be a...
it needs to be like lit. No, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm not trying to say they need to be fucking finger on the trigger. Every traffic stop, every interaction with a member of the public, you need to have in the back of your head, this man could be armed and he could be looking to end my life. And I think that is a lot
That's
of
why they always
We
search
are,
the
we are very
corners of the
lucky living
cars.
here. I mean, don't get me wrong, as a former firearm certificate holder, you know, as a person who has
the rights of
the
rights of the people shall not be infringed, Alex. I'm not going to say that. I'll say that, Budge, but bring back handgun ownership and legalize Section 5. But yeah,
Can we have a 50 as well?
working as a police officer here in the UK, you see a completely different attitude. We are less of a threat. Consequently, even the hardened criminals, even the serious wrong-uns,
The nasty bastards.
they treat us differently. For the most part, you will always get
the outlier,
outliers.
yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there is a threat there, and I've had some quite nasty injuries. I've had some colleagues with some properly horrendous injuries. But it's a completely different mentality. Generally speaking, we will talk someone to death in this country first before we. No, seriously, you will go to jobs and you're thinking, actually, we've got enough bodies here now. We could just rush this person and get it over and done with. But actually, it's talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And even when we get firearms teams down, you know, I've had a young man after a night out on the town, probably some cocaine and who knows what else.
Oh, because...
Hold up in an address, steak knife in each hand, threatening to kill everyone there. Whether he was a serving soldier, whether he was a former soldier? I don't know. But some PTSD issues, plus alcohol, plus drugs, plus whatever else. Not quite sure where he thought he was, what he thought was going on, but he wanted to kill everyone in the address, and he certainly wanted to try and do us harm. In the end, it was the offer of a cigarette.
Really?
Yep. We had armed officers there. It took them 40 minutes to get to us. That was a fun wait. But
they were in the Hyundai.
In the EV?
I stop halfway for a
they're
charge.
the only ones who will still get decent cars these days.
Yeah.
Just because the amount of kit they have to lug around.
Yeah,
it's not going to move in an EV, is it?
It's always an X5. It's always, you see an X5 coming down the road, you're like, oh shit.
But yeah, long way over. They get there. There's a bit of a sort of exchange of whatever you do, don't mention his granddad. All the bits and pieces that you figured out over the 40 minutes of talking to him.
Yeah.
Spray in hand, behind your back, waiting, thinking, this is going to go horribly wrong because it doesn't work on everybody. And those are steak knives. That's jagged. That's going to hurt.
No, it's not going to be clean.
No, absolutely. Talk. Right, tell you what. I don't smoke, but I'll find you a cigarette and I'll swap you those 2 knives for the cigarette.
No way. And that was it.
That was it. Walked out the address in the end. Because, of course, in America, those are weapons.
End of story. You come out brandishing that at policeman, you get within a certain range.
Blah, blah.
End game.
Yeah. And I can completely understand why they have that mentality.
Yeah.
But thankfully here, we have a different mentality. And I'd much, much rather be working here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can look at it from your point of view and I absolutely agree with it. But the older I get, and I really hope my firearms officer isn't listening, but I don't know, the older I get, the more I'm just like, I just like the whole freedom thing, man. Like the freedom, the right to bear arms, the freedom, the overthrow.
I don't think there are any bears over
overthrow tyrannical government. I just the Second Amendment. Just the older I get, the more it speaks to me of the rights of the people should not be infringed, and I like it, man.
Of a well-regulated militia. And there's the catch. It's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry doing what he wants with a gun, or at least it shouldn't be. And it's the same here. Don't get me wrong, I am the first person to say, actually, I'd quite like not just a single-shot target rifle, and actually, I'd like a semi that isn't just a rimfire. And
I'd love
so
an AK, an AR, and a 50.
And, it's interesting to try a different caliber here, or, that particularly weird one because it's got 6 locking lugs instead of 3, or what, a bizarre action, whatever else it happens to be. But with the checks that get done, we still have people slip through the net here. And actually, if someone slips through the net here, their capacity to go and do damage with what they're allowed to have here in the UK is very, very different.
Yeah, because there is nobody else on the other side of that with something to take them out.
Well, this was the whole thing back in...
Unless you're around here.
You seen Life on Mars? Great show.
No.
Oh, you watched Life on Mars?
Oh, yes.
Ashes to Ashes?
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Like they were all obviously armed, weren't they? Like the
not routinely, but they were all trained and could go back and get, which was
well, not obviously. Yeah, that's what I mean. 80s, good reference, like it, well done. Yeah, Ashes to Ashes, I get it. But I think with but that was the thing. Handgun ownership back then was, pre Dunblane, was you could own a handgun, you could have it within your private domicile, but you could only shoot it at target clubs and things like that. And it was only after Dunblane, which was, I want to make a point, Thomas Hamilton, I believe his name, who committed the Dunblane massacre, actually was refused entry into a pistol club and yet still managed to obtain pistols. So it's kind of like, well, the bloke that wasn't really allowed the gun or managed to somehow get through kind of led to the, what was it? It was the Daisy Foundation or the Daisy something, this whole movement that came to ban handguns in the UK. But my thinking is that it's just banned handgun ownership. It's obviously made obtaining a handgun a lot more difficult for criminals, but it hasn't taken it out of their hands.
No, absolutely.
In any way, shape or form. This is the whole argument in America. If you ban certain things, you're just taking it away from law-abiding citizens. And it falls into the hands of, because
it goes on the black market. Then
no fucking criminals have a 2.2 rimfire. Like me, no, they've all got 9mm Glocks and 357 Smith and Wessons, which I'm not allowed, and they are. And you see Manchester, also known as Gunchester, and they're Liverpool, and the madness that happens up there. And I'm like, well, okay, right, let the criminals have their fun, and people that can actually enjoy the sport of shooting, like myself, like a lot of other of my friends, are all of a sudden like my grandfather. My grandfather used to shoot pistol. We had a 357, a 1911 45 gold competition cup. Like, loved it. He used to smelt his own bullets, everything. And he was like, yeah, well, that fucked it for all of us, didn't it? And not an industry, but like a section of that industry was just killed overnight. Yeah. And I think I think don't let a good tragedy go to waste is my opinion of this country. And it saddens me every time I see
we're allowed.
It's rare, but every time I do see a mass shooting of somebody who legally owns a firearm, I think, great. So that guy's going to fuck it up.
That's another nail in the coffin, yeah.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, what happened in Plymouth recently is, I spoke about it with a few people privately off the podcast. It's scary for after the inquest that happened. It's a bit scary for the gun industry. You can call it that. I know it sounds a bit scary, but the sort of sporting gun.
But I think that is sorry, Alex. That's a police failure issue.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, Devon and Cornwall got. It's Devon and Cornwall, wasn't it? Yeah, for the
Plymouth would be. Yeah,
yeah, it was. They got called to account on that because he'd had his shotgun certificate revoked and then reinstated after. But
and his mother rang up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a failing on a failure from.
It was a failure.
I'm only speaking of what I've heard in the news and the press, which can never be relied on entirely. But they've called it a failing of that constabulary, and I think they've it's made a national impact in that all firearms sections of every constabulary have sort of had to look up and go, oh fucking hell, what kind of shit, we probably should look at this a bit further. And that's kind of the flip side of it for us. Oh great, they're going to be looking a lot further into us, which is fine in a way, but then I don't mind having more checks and more this, that and the other, but when they start really tightening down on, oh, well, I think, that club you shoot at, do you really need a 308 to shoot target? Well, I want to. Well, do you need to, though? Because you've got to do 2-3. You're like, hey, just let me do what I want, man. Yeah. Like, I've got no reason, I've got no criminal history to not let me have that. Let me have it. I don't know. I could be here all fucking day. Alex, please talk, because I'm going to get I'm going to get off one.
No, I mean, just playing devil's advocate to the whole thing, because I generally would agree with you.
Yeah.
I think we have become too strict here.
We have.
When we had Olympians training in pistol disciplines who couldn't train in the country they were representing because their kit wouldn't meet the local regs.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah. That sort of thing is really frustrating. But on the flip side, let's say law gets changed tomorrow, handguns are back in, great. What do you think all those police forces are doing? After instance, no, quite the opposite. Well, fine. I was thinking more along the lines of every firearms licensing department now sees the risk. You can apply for all you like, and the law says you can absolutely have it. Do you think we're going to give it to you? Do you think we're going to give you the ticket?
Unless you're unless you're part of a pistol club, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it'll inundate the firearms department. If they pistol clubs are every shooting ground all of a sudden opens up a pistol range, everyone's going to apply to join the pistol range, and they will be flooded with stuff, and they'll just go, yeah, we'll get to it in 3 to 5 years.
And the checks and the reviews right now will be crippling firearms licensing departments. I mean, how long have you been waiting for your current ticket?
Where are we to now? April.
When did you put in for it? End of
4 months ago?
The start of the year, was it?
Start of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's
because all of them right now are going back through and reviewing every single job. I can guarantee where they've revoked certificates, handed them back.
Yeah.
Giving people who are, do we, don't we? I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's a shotgun presumption. They should have it unless we can prove why not. They're going back over all those decisions. I can guarantee it. I don't work in a firearms licensing department, but I can guarantee that's the thought.
Mm.
And of course, the other thing you need to think, yes, criminals are absolutely getting hold of unlicensed firearms. They're criminals. By definition, they're not following the law.
It will always be the case.
Do you know what they're struggling with?
Ammunition?
Ammunition. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not, like...
And
the brass, the primers, like even if you're gonna make them yourselves, it's difficult to get hold of.
Yeah.
You can't buy any of that shit without a license.
The only reliable source for ammunition in this country is licensed sales.
Yeah.
A gun you can import here and there, but actually ammunition in bulk, that's going to be difficult to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, you've not got a great deal of pistol calibers in circulation.
No, because
you're not going to put down sportsman gun and pick up a crate of fucking 9mm.
Russia was such a huge manufacturer of all calibers, and now we've put obviously sanctions on them.
Well, it's not just that, but if people aren't shooting pistol disciplines,
you imagine
there's no market for it. Police forces have it. Yes,
getting 9mm in this country is not impossible. And not only that, even if you have a rifle chambered in a pistol caliber, they're instantly going to look at you like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth do you need 9mm when, to shoot what? No, you'd be far better off with a 223 or a, 17 or 22 mag. Like, you don't need 9mm.
And that's exactly it. And that's one of the other reasons why I think bringing back parts of the shooting that was in this country could cause us problems, because it provides, the more people you have with access to that, the more likely it is there's a rotten egg somewhere in that batch who's flogging on the ammunition to someone somewhere.
I mean, you look back to, a really weird tangent, it does tie in, but I've been watching The Cook Report recently on YouTube, which was a...
you have far too much time on your hands.
I really do, which was an investigative series done by a man called Roger Cook, who, if anyone's got any time, The Cook Report, YouTube, greatest thing ever. And it was in the late 90s, not long after the handguns ban in the UK. It was following how easy it was to obtain a firearm in the UK, not long after. So they go to these they go to a shop and you buy a deactivated handgun. They sell you a deactivated handgun, and then they sell you a barrel blank as well. And go, there you go.
On your own.
Two totally different items. You go and do whatever you want with these two things. Goodbye and have fun. Yeah, it was totally legal. It was totally legal to be able to do that.
I remember my grandfather.
If you were to do something on a lathe, that's nothing to do with me, sir. I mean, obviously, all that has been outlawed since. But
I mean, if you're going to go looking at people who have access to a lathe and enough know-how and enough precision to be able to turn a barrel, well, why do they need to go buying a barrel blank and a deactivated handgun? Just make one.
Just you could get yourself build yourself a Looty. Shout out to Expedited Firearms. Philip Looty, yes.
And now with the obviously the 21st century, we're fully in hard now. 3D printing, yeah.
Absolutely.
The Liberator.
How easy is that to print a gun?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Someone who is going to go amok and kill a load of people is going to find a way to do it. And it's as simple as driving a car into people now.
Yeah.
There is a reason the face of terrorism has changed in this country. And why, it's knives, it's cars, it's whatever you can lay your hands on. Failing that, you make it yourself.
Yeah. It's so easy. Like, you could go on dxf.net if you wanted to download a set of blueprints to 3D print a firearm. You can do it.
At least there's a paper trail. At least there, if you've got the know-how, you can look at who's been downloading what.
Yeah.
To some extent. I mean, it depends. You can share files on a USB stick and no one will ever be any the wiser.
But then you still need the ammo.
Yeah.
Because it is single use most of the time.
But no, I can agree with you in...
I'm just playing devil's advocate at this stage.
No. I agree with you to an extent. I do. I think, you like you say, there are illegal handguns out there in the UK, and there are illegal firearms, full stop, sawn-off shotguns, whatever. But, obtaining the ammunition for said things, are difficult in of itself. You're not going to have... it's like you're not going to have people shooting each other in the street and then picking up their brass after because they need to go reload it. All right, everyone, stop! Pick up your brass. Oh man, I love it. I love firearms talk. I can sit here all fucking day and talk about this. So we'll drill on into a bit more of the more interesting parts of your career, Alex. Are there any? What would you say was the scariest thing that you've ever had to do in the force?
Oh, there's a question. Certainly, the gentleman with the steak knives was not a comfortable wait.
No, I can't imagine it was.
That was definitely not fun.
Do you have any Berkshire turf wars?
No, on account of not being in Berkshire.
Hampshire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So I told you.
So yeah, I've worked or been on secondment to Avon and Somerset, Hampshire, and the Met. In terms of scary, some of the blue light runs where I've been a passenger have been interesting.
I always think that. I always think the bloke that's driving knows exactly what he's doing. But like when back when
the
we were
imaginary
young,
brake is still there.
Back when we were younger, when you're with your mate and he's a bit of a head case, and you're like, "Fucking hell, mate, Jesus Christ!"
For the most part, it's actually quite reassuring because to get your basic response ticket, it's a 3-week course.
Is it? But blue light?
Yeah.
That what they call it? That's what. Well, I was speaking to my sister-in-law. She's like, "I've got to wait for all this to do my blue light." Shit.
Yeah. Your basic blue light. I mean, you can get blue lights just to pull someone over. You can be a basic A to B driver and just literally put the blue lights on to pull someone over. Admittedly, there's still depending on which force you're in, about a day to do that.
That's not too bad.
Here's a button. You push that button. Don't push any of the other buttons. Just push that button. It's still a day's course. Don't get me started on the signing and coning course on how to put out cones. So yeah, so that's a whole other kettle of fish. But yeah, to be a response driver, you're looking at a 3-week course with weekly tests, as a driving instructor standards, person sitting there with a clipboard marking your every move.
So what I'm taking away from this, right, is if you get pulled over by a panda car and he flicks the blue lights on, and you go, "Fuck this," and put your foot down. If they've not got the ticket to follow you,
they can't pursue.
They can't follow you. I am not advocating for this at all. I'm simply asking a question.
It's going to depend on who's behind the wheel of that car.
Right, yeah.
Because it's not so much the vehicle as the driver.
Yeah.
So the fact they're driving a panda car might just be...
sorry, I didn't mean panda car. I meant as in like the person driving. If they've only got their blue lighty pull-over ticket and you just go, "Fuck this, I'm off."
But the moment you do the "fuck this, I'm off," you're committing an offence.
Of course, yeah. No,
separate to whatever else.
Absolutely, so, I understand that.
You're always from a
thing is you're fucked, whatever, because they've got your registration plate.
Yeah, exactly.
They're assuming the person that owns a vehicle and the name driver on the insurer, the primary insurer, is the person that's driving. And if it's not you, then you have to claim that it's been stolen or you've lent it to a mate. Who's the mate? Well, I don't know. I lend it to a lot of friends. Oh, do you really?
Which is why note on my drive is still in your name.
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. Where? Please bring that V5 round at some point, Marlon. That's been a couple of weeks.
I've sent it off.
Yes, I came round and signed that. Didn't? Yes.
No, you do it online, mate.
Oh, did you?
This is why I was always surprised early in my career when I was dealing with certain youngsters in and around Somerset who were enthusiasts of modified cars.
Allegedly.
In and around this table.
Well, no, I don't think either of you two ever pulled into the job centre car park, did something stupid, and then thought, rather than face the music, I'm going to leg it. But there were a number that did. Whereas... when you're a local cop, you know
and they'd be back in there the next night.
A, they'd be back in there the next night, or B, you know that they happen to work up at Volvo, you happen to know where their home address is, and you happen to know what route they're driving home.
I remember once, right, I was in Tesco's, and I was chilling with the boys, and they were like, "Oh, rip it up, Reg, you got that LPG, burn that fuel." And I just tore the front wheels up, and as I was doing it, you pulled in behind me and you didn't put the lights on. And I was like, right, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to leave quietly with tails between my legs. And you followed me to the base of Bristol Hill and you turned off. And the next day, you probably don't remember this. The next day, right, Dad come back in from the pub. He goes, "I had a little chat with Alex at the pub. Can you stop being such a little fucking prick?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry, but
sorry, mate. Sorry.
He didn't tell me what you did. He just said, "Can you just have words with your son and tell him to fucking behave, please? Because the next time I will be following him up Bristol Hill."
Case in point.
Did I do it again? No, exactly, because I knew at some point I'd be in that pub and you'd be like, right, that's it now. That is the end of story.
And to me, that is absolutely what policing should be about.
Yeah,
Knowing who's on your patch, knowing what they're up to, knowing their dad.
Literally. When I did it, I was like, oh shit, he drinks in a pub with dad. Like, God damn it.
Because let's face it, what's the worst I could have done? Probably giving you a Section 59.
Yeah.
It would never, I could have reported you for it and we could have, looked at sending you to court to go and have a chat with the magistrate about it. But it would never have got that far.
No,
but you were more scared of your dad.
Oh, God, yeah. He was just like, if you fucking do that again, you won't be filling up with LPG. You'll be running that on petrol.
And let's face it, you were filling up off of his LPG.
Yeah.
So he pulls the plug on that. All of a sudden, you're paying retail prices for...
I was paying for the fuel,
joining the rest of us
if I was, I'd have been joining the rest of you. I didn't have a penny scratch my ass. But you think my old man was paying me fucking minimum wage? Was he fuck? I didn't have no money, fool. But yeah, no, that was exactly how it was back then. And I think, like you say, that was such a good way of like policing. It really taught you not all cops are bastards. It was just like, have a bit of respect for them and I'll have a bit of respect for you. Like I said,
you are a fine example of that, sir.
I had a run-in with the police back when I was 15, actually. I don't know if I've spoken about it before on the podcast. And as I said again, I hope my firearms officer is listening because I declared this. I went to like Mayfair. You remember Mayfair? It was just like an absolute. You remember Mayfair quite well, don't you, Marlon?
Which time? Not the time I got carried home drunk because I drank too much wine.
Oh, was it? Yeah. I was at
It's the Sambuca edged paving slabs in Wells around Mayfair where kids are literally. There was a vintage bottle of port one year that a kid had literally lifted must have lifted from dad's stash because there was no way in hell, a kid.
It's more of a crime.
It hurt to watch them pour that away, but there was no way in hell. I was, the bottle was open.
Yeah,
sorry,
it's done, mate. Yeah,
I'm not taking it. I'm not tipping it away. You are going to do it, and you're going to explain to your parents what happened to the rest of that bottle of port.
That was it. You bastards used to make us tip it away, didn't
Absolutely.
you? That was what hurt. You used to get the hobo. Les the hobo to buy you a fucking 24 bottle of Smirnoff and then make
a bit of 2020.
Empty 2020 and then make us pour it down the drain.
I don't think I ever got caught drinking.
Oh, I never got caught drinking.
You might correct me. I don't think I ever did.
No, I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
Your sister did.
No, really?
No,
on more than one occasion.
No. So harsh.
He's a scumbag.
Oh, was it like a weird change going from from
a place where everyone
Avon and Somerset to Hampshire?
Yeah, massive. I mean, partly the role change as well. Because as a neighbourhood officer, I was a PCSO in Avon and Somerset.
Everyone.
And it was your job to know everyone.
Yeah.
From the local counsellors down to
community
the local
support.
SCROTES to all the teachers at the school. You knew, and it was your job to know everyone. As a response officer, you've not got the time. Your job is literally
go
there,
for that
get a sticking
scenario.
blast on it, capture the evidence, make sure the evidence is preserved.
Next.
Good luck writing it up because that ain't going to come until the end of the shift because the next call's already waiting or the next several calls are still
You
waiting.
have the best job in the world. So you get to do all the fun shit and none of the paperwork.
Oh, no.
Oh.
You do all the paperwork too.
Oh.
Once the next shift are in. You're not off on time. No. You might, on the clock might technically finish at 2. But that's when you stop getting sent to jobs.
Oh.
But you've still not written up the first job you went to at 8:30 that morning.
Oh. So you have to do everything.
I assume you don't get paid for that.
Ideally, you go to a job, you mark yourself as committed, you write the job up, you then resume yourself as available and go to the next one.
Life doesn't
Resources
work like that.
don't work like that.
No.
You've not got the manpower. You've staffing, official vocab guidelines. But yeah, no, you just don't have the resources for that. So you're literally just firefighting. And as a response sergeant, a lot of the bit you had to try and balance was I don't want to leave a massive steaming pile for the oncoming shift, but equally,
Fuck 'em.
I don't want. Well, no, yeah. Theory being, of course, they never hand over to you because there's 5 shifts in rotation. So the temptation, but then you know
the temptation's there.
You speak to anyone. The preceding shift, never do anything and leave it all for you, and we deal with everything. And the shift coming on, there's literally nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. But every cop anywhere in the world, it's not just in England, will swear blind that's exactly what happens.
You made it sound like you were the flying squad, but in fact you were like the paperwork squad.
No. Well, yeah. You used to have the role of an area car driver. And the area car drivers were the long in tooth, have been there for yonks. It's a double crewed car, and it's not a Ford Focus. We had a
Impreza and Evo.
No. We had a 320 and we had a Skoda Scout for the rural. But they have
Skoda Scout.
An Octavia Scout. So it's essentially an Octavia all road.
I see.
You had a 2-litre engine. You had an auto box in it. You had
Not very pretty.
Four-wheel drive,
a little high riding.
A load of plastic around the fucking wheel arches.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah. But it handled a damn sight better than the Ford Focuses, and it wasn't an Ecotec engine, which means you could actually get somewhere. But the area car drivers, their job was to get there first.
Right.
If there was anyone on shift with a taser, they'd be crewed with the area car driver. And they got the sexy jobs. They turned up. You, with your basic A to B ticket, would turn up afterwards. They've already nicked whoever needs nicking, hand it over to the van driver who's taken them to custody, and leaves the poor old person with the A to B ticket to take the statements and do the paperwork. And they're off to the next exciting job. That used to give you a purpose and a focus because you wanted to be that Gucci so-and-so in the area car, doing the fun stuff, getting all the blue light runs.
And then be like, right, bye, next one.
And never really doing that much paperwork. Or at least that's the way it seemed when you weren't the area car driver.
Yeah.
They never do any paperwork. Turns out when you are, there is still some paperwork to do. But it gave you something to focus on, even if you didn't want to specialize, even if you didn't want to go anywhere else other than your response role. That was something to aspire to. You did the extra stop checks. You went the extra mile. You gave it some effort. Because actually, sooner or later, that response course is going to come up. You're going to get your blue light ticket, and then you can be one of the area car drivers. You've got someone else in the car with you, so you've got someone to chat to, which is always a bonus, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be single crewed, and that can be boring as hell on a big rural patch. And lonely when all of a sudden you come across a 4x4 with several likely-looking lads and some long dogs in the back, and you're thinking, where's my nearest backup if this goes sideways?
Look at this. There's a P-Red Shogun with a load of lurchers in it.
What are they doing?
What do you reckon?
I'm no expert on dog breeds, but
what are these gentlemen up to at this time of night? Heavens above.
At least as an area car driver, there's a second body next to you.
Yeah.
The odds of just halved in whatever scrap we may or may not get into. So yeah, it was always something to aspire to, and we lost that. 2016, I think.
That role was...
I don't know if the Met might still have it. But yeah, no, they don't have it anymore. You can't afford to have a car routinely double crewed in this day and age.
Really?
If you get a domestic where you want 2 officers, you send 2 single crewed cars.
Fucking unreal, isn't it?
I didn't even know that. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's just not, it's a luxury you can't afford to have. If you've got 2 bodies in one car together, they can only get half the jobs. There aren't that many jobs where you need the sheer number of bodies there, and if you do, you just send multiple units. Yeah.
So you're killing the planet twice.
They're all EVs now, mate, or whatever. Like I've seen so many knocking around. It's like police car, but it's like EV, 0 emissions. I'm like, the last thing I care about when a police car turns up is what emissions is pumping out. I need them to either save my ass or sort something out. But don't worry, we're sorry we're a bit late, but at least there's 0 emissions. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. Just before we square off, Alex, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I asked my sister-in-law about it. Bit of a somber topic, not gonna lie. The case of the poor, the hugely unfortunate police officer in Thames Valley with the quad bike. Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, you probably explain it better than I will. What were your thoughts on the sentencing of those blokes?
Generally speaking, I think our sentencing is too lenient.
Fucking piss poor is what I'd say.
I wouldn't ever want to speak to any one particular job, just because I don't know, even jobs that I've been to myself, I don't know all the ins and outs.
Yeah. There's always more of them
there is,
than you see.
Yeah, and when it comes to sentencing, there is a whole backstory around the person's previous, their bad character, and I may know the job inside out and back to front. I don't know that person's previous history and all the rest of it, which plays a very significant part.
Yeah.
But yeah, by and large, I think this country is far too lax with a lot of its sentencing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying lock everybody up, but a lot of our offenders don't feel there is any significant consequence to any of their actions.
That's what I, having sort of looked into, I'd say I probably looked into that case more than most would. You know, the case I'm on about?
No, I don't.
So basically there were 2 scrotes. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be calling them scrotes. I should be calling them cunts. Murderers is what I should be calling them. 2, 3 was it? I can't remember now.
I don't know the exact number there
that night. An amount of scrotums were robbing a quad bike from a farm/rural
isolated property.
Yeah, down a lane. Farmer, owner of the premises, rang through to the police, said, "Look, little bastards are robbing my quad bike." Police said, remain in place, we'll sort it. Single track lane. Policeman's driving down there with another copper in the car, double manned, goes down there, car's coming towards them. He gets out. I can't remember quite what happens. They've got a quad bike in tow on the back with a rope. One of the coppers gets out, and the car goes around the police car, and matey is trying to chase the car. All of a sudden, disappears. The other copper in the car can't find out where the fuck he's gone. His stab vest is on the floor. His warrant card is like some sort of loyalty card or something. Anyway, so they drop the quad bike off, or it come loose, whatever. And he got his leg caught in the rope, and they dragged him
to death.
Yeah. And they claimed that they didn't know he was there, and it was that, we didn't know.
At the end of the day,
they turned the radio up to drown out his screams and beat him against curbs, going around trying to drive left, right to get him off instead of stopping, or because they didn't want to get caught. And
capital punishment needs to come back at some point.
He'd only been married a few days, weeks before, and they got incredibly lenient sentences for that. Didn't get done for murder, did they? It was they pleaded manslaughter, and they got manslaughter, minimum for manslaughter the maximum 14 years, I think. Is that right?
Could be. Again, sentencing guidelines are not my bag, but
I know they're just absolutely. I think they, with good behaviour, the little bastards could probably be out in well under 10.
Yeah. No, I mean,
killing a police officer.
There's one I can sort of quite happily speak to, because the victim in that was me. So I tipped up to a job. A couple of our specials had arrested a gentleman who was kicking off outside an Asda. One of our regulars, nowhere near as likable as young Les was.
Oh, bless him.
I think he sort of was born at about age 60 and then never changed from there, did Les? But
never changed at all.
No. But not a dissimilar character. Always generally hanging around in town, always with a bottle of something.
Yeah.
Problematic, to say the least. He'd been being violent and aggressive towards customers at Asda, hence he'd been arrested. I tip up with the van, start walking towards him. The week after, I'd been issued my body-worn video camera.
No.
Switch the camera on, because, let's try this new snazzy bit of kit.
Yeah.
They're picking him up, they're starting to pat him down. Why have you arrested me? Blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. I walk towards, I just about to start explaining to him when he spits straight in my face. I've got AIDS. You've now got AIDS as well. That
Terrifying, man.
A fun 3 months of waiting.
3 months.
Yeah.
You have to wait for your viral
blood test that night.
Yeah.
To confirm you've not already got AIDS. Genius. Yeah, that's great. Well,
that really fills you with fucking confidence.
well, no, again, from an evidential point of view.
Yeah, well, that's what it. Yeah, because if you already have it, then you can't charge him with it. Yeah, I get it. I
got it from him. Honest. Well, who knows? So, blood test that night to prove I didn't already have AIDS, and then 3 months to wait.
They won't rush it.
You can't. No, you can't. You need to wait 3 months
viral load.
for the antibodies to start showing up, for your body to actually show the signs of starting to contract it before a blood test on you will show
was
it.
That back in the days where you could take PET? Was it PET? There
is a prophylactic you can take, but as the doctor in A&E that night so wonderfully put it, you may or may not catch AIDS from this. As a transmission vector, saliva is quite low. He had been fighting with colleagues, so he had some blood in his saliva. I had a mouth ulcer at the time, probably from the stress of policing. So again, there's the potential blood to blood there. So
that's
slightly
what it
raised
is.
it.
Yeah.
But as she said, you may or may not catch AIDS from this. But if I give you the prophylactic drug, it will guaranteed cause you liver problems. So if I were you, I'd just risk AIDS. At the end of the day, even if you get it in this day and age, we can manage it very well. If we give you the prophylactic, we will screw your liver.
Fill it forever.
Well,
for the foreseeable.
Depends how bad the damage is, I suppose.
Yeah, bad enough that they're saying AIDS might be better.
That's a fun conversation to have night of for a start.
Oh yeah,
and then the lovely 3 month wait, where you're thinking the whole time, right? Yeah, I have a lovely wife here, and what am I going to do? I spent time in China growing up, and at some stage I'd like to take my family there and show them that country. You can't if you've got AIDS.
Really? Is that still the case?
Well, I don't know if it's still the case. It certainly was. What's it going to do to me? I hadn't had kids yet at that stage, so it's all well and good using protection to protect the other person from AIDS, but actually, where'd you come to? It took about a year for it to finally get to court. I turned up as a victim to read my victim personal statement on every occasion that he didn't turn up to court, because he repeatedly didn't turn up.
Give a shit.
Was eventually brought to court. My colleagues, of course, in the local town knew what was going on, knew every time he didn't appear, eventually picked him up and dragged him straight down the next day. I was there, read my victim personal statement, and for all the anguish, the heartache, the assault, I was turning up to explain why he'd been arrested. I hadn't laid a finger on him at this stage. I had, up until then, had very, very few dealings with him, in fact. He got 12 months.
No. Out in 6 with good behaviour.
Not even worth a wank, is it?
All that. Like, literally.
All that heartache, all that stress, all that worry.
And he's going to be out.
And a very, very deliberate court on camera. The footage played in court was gold dust. That's another one of those instances where everything being recorded is a godsend. Yeah. Because you've literally got the staring straight at the point, straight at the camera. Aha, I've got AIDS. You've got AIDS now. Beautifully caught. But 12 months. We are too lenient.
It takes a certain kind of person. Well, I say it takes a certain kind of person. I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably your training and your experience that makes you the member of the force that you are. But I think as a member of the public, I would struggle to restrain myself in a lot of the situations you find yourself in. You just think, it's my job, it's how I pay my mortgage, pay my bills, and maintain my lifestyle. If I drop this prick, it's all over.
and that's very often the case. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs where you're thinking, actually,
no,
my gut told me something totally different, but actually,
my mind,
I want to keep this job.
No. Oh God! Right, I think we're fit to boogie. Am I honest?
Yeah.
Yeah. You seem quite tired, boo.
I'm all right, mate. I'm
You're
all
all
right.
right?
It's
Yeah.
been a long fucking week. It's
All
been a long week. It's been
The pet names for each other. It's so cute.
been stressful. I've gained more grey hairs. I've lost sleep. But it's Friday.
Good. Right, wonderful. Massive shout out, sponsor of this episode. Sean the fucking chef. I've said before, I get really wild at people eating while we're podcasting, and there was me just guts in the rest of that fucking the old
Mate, what are they
brownie
going to
and
do?
cookie dough. I just can't stop
What are
myself.
they going to do? Sack you?
No, well, I don't know. Maybe if there's enough people that cancel their Patreon subscriptions, they'll sack me by.
Please don't cancel them.
I'm not being able to afford to do this. So yeah. So massive shout out to Sean the Chef. You can check him out on Instagram at Marlon
Sean the Chef one.
and at his new website www.seanthechef.shop, where you can order online. Incredible, 21st century. It's nuts.
Go there. Do it now.
The stuff is amazing. Enjoy yourself. Treat yourself. It's fucking incredible. So massive shout out to Sean for this one. Alex, man, thank you for coming on. Been a real eye-opener, and it's been good. It's been good. I've really enjoyed talking about the ins and outs of things with you. It's been, I've found it enlightening, interesting, and also educational. And
Nice
it's
to catch up after so fucking long.
yeah. Not
Been too long.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. You won't see Marlon and Ignis for a while. Saying
even
that,
buy one anymore.
I saw one the other
There is
day.
a silver one which goes round the local area.
There's a black one as well, I've seen.
What?
I have to remember where it is. It's going to take me a day or two to remember where I saw it, but there is a black one around with the big mud flaps and the bit spoiler.
SWT mud flaps, big spoiler, big foggies in it.
I don't know.
Yes,
I
Daddy.
saw it somewhere. I have to remember where I saw it to remind you. But yeah. Right. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Please rate us 5 stars on Spotify.
Follow us on YouTube.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us 5 stars on Spotify. Really appreciate it. It helps push the podcast further and further out into the ether. Also, don't forget, anyone that orders from Sean the Chef this week, today, day of listening. No, whoever orders merch. Sorry, fucking hell, I've had a few beers. Whoever orders merch today is getting, 3 of you will be getting a Sean the Chef box. So yeah, treat yourselves. Right. Thank you for
We'll
listening.
do the draw live.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, will we?
I will.
Okay, you will. All right. I've been Reg.
I've been Marlon.
Babyface.
Right, and that's the end.
No.
Until next week.
Yay!